95% loss rate was the title of my book about dating back in college. Man, don't do that to yourself. don't do that to yourself.
Hey, I mean, did you find yourself a wife? Because that 5% win rate,
man, that's
gives
all
you
that matters.
gives you a lifelong win, right? Come on.
Don't do yourself like that, man. 95% was my success rate getting in and out of college.
Nice. GG's.
All right, man.
How I go?
There we go. All right. Bang. Yeah, ooh is right. We'll hit the...
All right, guys.
See you laughing up a storm over there.
Another great day.
Oof is right. All right, guys. Another great day from you, Obi. What happened?
I was just reading.
Slow motion, Joe?
No. What was did the?
Bye, Joe. See ya, Hangry White.
Oh, I think it got held for review or something. One of the messages. That's funny. First, yeah, I said GG's. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys all. All right, let's go.
Yeah, I think it's good day once again. We'll see you guys soon enough, but don't go anywhere, guys. You got the big boys at the main desk coming through to take you off into the close. Just a couple hours left, so good luck and Godspeed with the rest of your trading.
See you guys
tomorrow.
Yo. Hey, welcome back, everybody. I'm just gonna address the cheese in the chair thing, because the way I see it, as long as it's not 100% loss rate, then the last one, maybe you married the last girlfriend, and that's a success. I mean, at the end of the day, if you find happiness, that's all that matters. We are 2 hours and 18 minutes away, if we want to believe why not? NVIDIA is supposed to be at 420, so we're 2 hours and 18 minutes away from NVIDIA, and apparently Michael Burry is doing what Michael Burry does, which is adding to a short position in Oracle.
Oracle, huh?
Yeah, Burry doing Burry things. I mean, Oracle's not really moving on that headline, but you know what? Oracle probably moves tonight.
Oracle Burry adds to Oracle. You think so? Yeah, I don't know. Oracle, yeah, maybe.
Well, I can see. Well, it depends on if NVIDIA tells us something which moves the market. Which, I guess
they're not going to. Yeah,
they might not.
Yeah, no. NVIDIA, we're just looking for. Look, their profit is supposed to be 98% increase from last year over year. So it's just like I don't know what exactly they can tell us that's going to change the direction of this market. We're into
kind of good.
Intel. Okay, good. That's the only position right now. Intel, we were short against the highs there, and then some story broke, and we wound up getting out on that break. We went long, got out there, tried again back at the 50 period, got stopped out, literally almost made the bottom again. I still think we should go long on Intel right now. Still holding out near these highs, 50 periods there. I'm going to give it back to 87 right here, that bottom wick, where we did get stopped out on there on the way back down in. So we're going to give that a go right there on Intel. Down to 87.20 is where we're, 87.22s. We're going to add a little bit more on that position and then give it down to a break of 87. Right now, long 87.50 on Intel. So yeah, it was an up and down move on Meta today as well. You know, longs in this area was good. Tried it again at VWAP there, lost VWAP, got stopped out. But right now, looking to take even a more of a bid potentially out now is Meta. Just got to break above some of these levels, basically 579 again. So we're right here right now. We can pay attention to what happens to Meta over the next couple minutes. Looks like it may want to go upside there on Meta.
Yeah, that was a big update for Meta.
Yeah.
But we've also seen some big updates out of Orogenics, ticker OGEN on the NYSE American. They've activated their Phase 2A clinical trial in Australia, with its first site fully operational and patient dosing expected next. They're developing ONP-002. It's an intranasal treatment that targets concussion and mild traumatic brain injury. That's an area where there are currently no FDA-approved therapies. Alongside that, Orogenics has spent the last year strengthening the balance sheet, raising capital, resolving liabilities, and restoring exchange compliance. The focus is shifting to execution, with clinical progress underway and additional CNS assets under evaluation. Shout out to ticker OGEN on the NYSE. Get that right. I almost said like ticker NYSE on the OGEN, which wouldn't make a heck of a lot of sense. I'm just in BMNR. I was in like the crazy thing about that intel, and I'm going to hesitate to call it a story because I feel like the news service got that one wrong. They said there was this fireside chat and that CEO was speaking and it wasn't the CEO. Anyways, this was the level that was the high in the morning that led to the move to the bottom. So I stopped. I tried the long, and then when we found out it wasn't the CEO speaking, it's like, what's going on here? So it's still above the breakout level, but I want this to calm down a little bit. I'm just in BM&R off the top, which is very similar, and we have a super chat. Good day to you, Peter Hopfe. You were forced to long. Oh, sorry, I missed the if. If you were forced to long or short mRNA. Moderna. Okay, where are we at?
Long.
From here. You're talking about like right now, or are we talking about like long term? Because I think if you were like swinging it, like my gut still tells me squeeze until it gives up 130, right? So like in a longer time frame, it's like, yeah, there's your support from that first day. It's unbroken. Even if we're pulling back, we didn't retest $140 in here, so it's still looking like it's trying to put in some higher lows to the eventual break of the 160. So that's what I would think on MRA from a bit of a longer time frame standpoint. But with it here, yeah, longer term, yeah. If you're talking about the longer term, until it loses $130, I still like the potential for a bigger squeeze. I mean, ultimately, like everybody has been waiting for, isn't it this moment that everyone was waiting for on Moderna, which was, hey, let's use this technology to combat cancer. And if this is just step one, like I would just think there's such a huge potential upside. And even if it's not realized, the threat of that upside would seemingly scare the shorts. And because it showed you where the dip was after that initial move up, it kind of gives you a natural out. Right? If it takes out that day too low, that's kind of a simple spot to be like, okay, well, close underneath there, and then you can get out of it. Meanwhile, you've got an entire squeeze potential here on mRNA. I guarantee you it feels like there are some newer shorts that have been pretty aggressive on this stock.
Yeah, I think you want to go long in the longer term. But yeah, wait for some pullbacks. I mean, some moves happening right in front of us now with Moderna. I just want to say this little break right here on Meta. I'm interested in going long if we break above 579.25. So we're still $1 away from that actually happening. But, if we can zoom back into Meta, again, like good trading. It's going to be the only stock I'm up on today. Palantir, whatever. But right into there, that was the last take we had, 580.50, drops back down in. We took $1 hit on that last little piece there. Breaking, I think at that time it must have broke through the 200 or VWAP or something. So I don't think we would have necessarily just stopped out right there. But quickly out, in and out there for $1. So that was a bad one. But I'm just thinking right now, it might be downside, right? We're underneath everything. So I don't necessarily like the long where we are, but I like the long if we can break above and maybe change some of the rhetoric. Break above that, get long 579.50 into 582. Give ourselves about $1, depending on how far this goes right now to the downside. I was watching, so 578 was kind of what I was thinking about stopping out on if we wind up taking that out. But a lot of that's going to be somewhat dependent on where we go from here on Meta. So, hey, man, maybe that does hit. So if we do see Meta starting to go to the upside, we can appreciate what's going on there. Look, profit in the pocket right now on Intel. But I was going to try to wait for 70s right into there. That's 69. Let's put an offer there. I was actually at 73. Let's go to 68 for a little bit there and see if we can climb just a bit further on Intel and get back and forth on that one. Yeah, a story about the fireside chat. Didn't really get it going too much there. So, I mean, it did, but it came right back. So, a little bit of a risk shot there. Did not work out on that one. So, not too pleased with that Intel trade. We'll see if we can get a little bit of money back right now on that one. But yeah, man, let us know what you guys want us to talk about. We have CrowdStrike coming through tonight. That should be obviously a well-anticipated. I mean, we're all going to be here for one name, and that's going to be Nvidia.
Right. Yeah.
But the way CrowdStrike's been treated over the, last few days has not been nice. So CrowdStrike from 228 all the way down to 190. We'll hear if that rhetoric about AI and what that affects on the software names. You see Palantir back near that 180 marker again, which is really nice. Same thing for Palo Alto, and we'll get that going. I asked Adair earlier when Palo Alto reports, but it's in 6 days, September the 1st for Pan W. So it's going to be a good little lookout there today.
So wake up.
Or what CrowdStrike is going to do. We just got a good one there. We'll bang on that. We just got Intel at that 68 marker when we were gone. So that was a nice little trade. Back down now 8 cents from that level. But, just so you guys know, if you don't sit there and get an offer something, then you don't get it. So we sat there, went there. My next offer is actually at $88. So thinking that we could get going just a little bit more. Let's wait to see if Intel does do that. But yeah, so far so good. Meta's going back down, so maybe we can cancel that trade, but we'll still keep it there for 579.25 breakout as well. And then Nvidia, the name we just sort of mentioned there, that 210 has been a good level, right? I know today we broke underneath it, but watching out for 210 has been a good one. Now you're approaching back into VWAP. The Bears will win if we stay underneath. The Bulls will win if we get above. I'd like to see us break. VWAP is important, no doubt about that. But if this is going to run, we're already long Intel, so we can hold out on the chip space. But this has to be 211.50 for me on Intel. So I think you guys are close, to maybe breaking out of that VWAP trade. But if you were long, just watch out. You just ran into VWAP there and potentially turning around a bit at this point. But that's what we're dealing with right now, trying to watch out for Intel, and just made a nice little move to the downside right there. So we'll have to watch out. I just heard something about
HPQ not a supplier to Huawei?
No, is
that?
Or I don't. No, they're not.
They're saying they're not a supplier.
Okay, so that might be a good thing for Intel. I was thinking there that HPQ, if Huawei is starting to get involved there, what about the chip game? What about Intel? HPQ obviously a big computer side of things. So Intel just went a little bit of a move down there on a potential Huawei story. We'll take the long rate at this level just to reload what we put out right there. Maybe we get an upside take now on INTC. We're dropping out of this thing if it breaks 87, man. So that's what we're doing on Intel right now.
Oh, thank you, Brad Glazer.
Boom, that's a big one.
Glazier for the donation, 148.
Yeah.
148 smacks. Oh, there we go.
That's that number.
Yeah, directly. And so this is where it's going to, everybody. Angel Hair for Kids, you can see. I mean, you can help. Well, you donate now to help sponsor a child. 2,500. Every 2,500, that's a new wig.
Yeah.
Right? So we've already got 2 locked and loaded. The link should be, I don't see it pinned in the chat. The link should be in the description. I don't see it pinned in the chat right now. Maybe we can make sure we do that. And that's where it's going to take you. So thank you for that donation. I see Ishmael is in there as well. But again, it's a fantastic cause. And if you don't know what's going to happen, Fabian is going to donate that live on air. He is cutting that hair. What day is today? Wednesday.
In 2 days.
Friday, in 2 days. I had to think about it for a split second. And in 2 days, he's live on air. He's going to be cutting it off, and then we're donating it. Ideally, we can get to 4 would be fantastic. Currently, we're at 2 wigs. When I put on my, I was going to read the quote. I don't really understand why I didn't have hair, but I knew that I really wanted to have hair like everybody else. And if you know anybody that's gone through chemotherapy, especially if they're a kid, right? Like, that's a big feeling. You uplift somebody's spirits, and that helps with recovery. I don't care what anybody says. Positive attitude is going to help you through any kind of recovery. For sure. So thank you for that. Thank you for that gift. If you're feeling in a generous mood, that's what it's all about. Like, give to the charity. We appreciate super chats, but we'd much rather have it go directly to the charity. So I just got wicked out. This is the level I want on BM&R. Like, we had it once in, added to it, and it started to break down through 25. Couldn't. It's wicked out. It just wicked out the top, but if I get the top tail wick at a key level, I'm going to try and jump back in and put the stop back at the high. That's happening while, here, I'll quickly show you what's going on in ETH. ETH hasn't broken out the top, and Bitcoin is trying to right now. So you're at a resistance spot. I just think there's more bang for your buck or juice in the trade for ETH. And there's Fabian right there. He's doing, look, I mean, honestly, like doing the Lord's work, man. It's all about giving, and that's how much he's going to cut off.
Oh, gosh.
Like, that is intense, man.
It's 28, yeah. Okay.
I mean, that's how I used to roll. Oh, you know me. I got that ill flow.
That was a good one.
Right down. No, are you crazy?
No, he didn't have that. He didn't.
Afro, maybe.
He didn't have that.
I did have, well, I mean, I used to have, when I was a kid, there was one summer, so the first summer I played baseball for Brampton, and at the beginning of the summer, they're like, hey, man, you should grow it out and then get that, like, 80s look where, like, the fro's coming out of your cap. I'm like, whatever, I won't cut it. And so by the end of the summer, I did have like the fro, and you take the cap off, and you have the big fro sticking out, and then I cut it back for school. I used to love that because that's all of our guys, like when we followed the Jays in the 80s when we were kids, like George Bell, Jesse Barfield, they all had the same look. Either they had the big puff fro or the Jerry curl.
Yep.
Like everybody was doing one of the two, and you wouldn't catch me in the Jerry curl, that's for sure.
All right, yeah, so get those donates going, man. I mean, I think it's really exciting to be able to do that, and we want to thank Fabian and everybody for all of their help in everything. Donate what you can, and it'll be great. We're going to do it live here on Friday. Yeah, just kind of sitting in this intel right now, looking for some more opportunities. RPGL, halter, but it doesn't look like it's doing anything. WSHP, I heard a couple of talks about this one during the midday. Okay, so now Intel's going the other way around. Like all of a sudden the volume just kind of picking back up there on Intel as we make lows right now back into 87.20. So we take a fill. We're long right now at 87.40. It's not looking great as the pressure is to the downside right now. Our stop out is unfortunately right where it is now at $87. So that's right where that last little washout stopped. So hopefully we can get back up to the upside. We're 10 cents away from being positive, but we're hoping for a move higher here on Intel. I mean, the futures trying to get low. I don't know. Like we were short underneath there. I thought it was a pretty good trade until all of a sudden it blew higher. We got stopped out. So we actually didn't make any money there. Wound up taking the long once we sort of figured out that there was something going on. Averaged into it, got stopped out. Took that long right now in front of you guys. Now just got another piece down here. So it looks like this is going to probably just fall apart on me, maybe. I mean, I don't know. But it's just not having the moves that I was hoping for right now in Intel. But hey, maybe we do get an upside take now on INTC. It looks like it's trying to get back there. So that was a good little move. What are we long at there? 38. It's okay, perfect, because 48 and right into here, we always want to take something out if we can get back to the upside a little bit. So let's just do that just in case it does want to go. We'll be there to get a little bit more out of 87.45s. Right into here somewhere. Hopefully there's some good news coming for Intel. Are they gone? Is it there back there? Yeah. Well, what's up with that fireside chat? Is that still happening or?
Well, like I said, it was kind of complicated in that we literally, we don't have any comments from it. So when they announced it, they just said, oh, it's going to be at 1:35 p.m. It's going to vaguely discuss the company's business. And I was saying this, Sean, I don't know if you were, I think you might have not been at the desk when I said this because I said it a couple minutes after we talked about it. But with the fireside chats, they're not filmed. They are not, publicized by the company. It's not a company event. So all that we really know about them is if we get analyst notes on them often after the fact. So if we do get anything, it'll probably be tomorrow.
Okay, so a little bit of wait and see here. Maybe something leaks on whatever they talk about. But okay, so we won't play that as a news story unless we do hear something. And we have Adara here. We have our ears to the ground as well. Any news service will probably pick something up on Intel. So if that does wind up going upside, great. And if not, our stop zone is right there at $87. It was always going to be that little wick lower right there anyways, which is 87.07. So we'll give it to 87 flat. Look, man, I mean, 40 cents on Intel. It's pretty reasonable, so let's wait to see. Hopefully we can have a 40-cent winner on it, would be nice. But yeah, we'll hold out for Intel, hoping for some upside. We'll take a little bit out at 10 and a little bit out again where we stopped. There it is. A little bit out again where we stopped last time. What was that price that we just got? See what I mean? Like we just got 48s right there. Or was it 47s? 45, sorry. And then it just went right back to 38 again. So it's like, if you don't sit there and grab the shares when they're there, then yeah, it's a dangerous game. So, all right, that's what we're doing with Intel right now, just hoping that some of those top wicks keep on extending out a little higher. There's 44, 45 again for INTC. So a good little level here. Maybe we'll take a little bit more out at 44 and see if this can get a little bit higher. Intel trying to work, but the futures are trying to go as well. So that's a big part of the story here is the NASDAQ getting back to the high side. Maybe Nvidia's on a run. I don't know.
I'm just looking around. I saw SpaceX was making a bit of a move. Got back into that top tail wick on BMNR because crypto's still holding that high. Strong name right now might be ARM, but the volume's pretty. I mean, the chart's good, but the volume is literally non-existent. So you're looking at things that are at the high of the day and going. But look at Nvidia; it's trying to break through VWAP. It'd be great, like if you maybe make a run going into the earnings print. That would be nice, but it would have to break out above the volume-weighted average price to get me interested in that bad boy. So I don't know if that's going to be it. Certainly, I mean, Palantir was hot early. It's it's kind of slowing down a little bit here. Like you feel like it was a good runner, but maybe that reversion was the trade, and now you're waiting for the next shoe to drop. So it just feels like there's a little bit of a bit of a lull. Like right now, the market almost needs to do something. Like if I'm not getting a reversion off the high or like a pullback into VWAP or a short into VWAP somewhere, I don't want to be rushing into anything. Like I also, like it's an area that I like on Intel because you're talking about like the short price from the morning. There was the breakaway on news. Like it's got a double bottom here. You could break that trend. It's not really a trend, but there's the news top, there's the lower high. You could break this trend line and then just use the prior resistance as support. So I'm leaning to that even being something that I want to jump back into. Thankfully, I don't know. I got out because like my style is basically just when I see a level like this and it was on news, it's like fill in the gap. And if I see anybody selling at that level, jump out of it. If they had held it, then you wait until that 89. There's plenty of room to 89. So this is kind of piquing my interest as well. Not much is doing a lot of volume, but as you may have noticed, there is somewhere that we need to go to right now. And that is from the desk or the window to the wall, the arrow.
Hey guys, I am here to do our daily segment of To the Window, to the Wall, where I pull up an infographic window and we talk about it on the wall. Now this visual, which looks a lot better if you check it out live on X at TTV Research, I think you see the greens a little bit better. This visual captures going back to calendar year 2021, calendar year 2022, fiscal year 2023, because Nvidia is ahead of the calendar year. A look at how this name has performed on earnings day one. Now, why did they start in calendar year 2022? Because that's when you had the whole introduction of ChatGPT that happened so this would be fiscal Q4 2023, calendar Q4 2022. But either way here, as you guys can see, we generally had, for the first couple quarters of this AI excitement here with ChatGPT, really strong day one performances for NVIDIA. You had this would have been, so Q1 calendar year 2023, this nice, 25% up day. Since then, though, if we were to chart this, I would say we're in a little bit of a downtrend when it comes to these earnings reactions. And we know Michael Noss talked about this, but this is something I really wanted to visualize. Lately, like over the last, we'll go 6 to 8 quarters, as Michael Noss said, you're getting a lot of negative reactions in earnings day one. Now, I want to clarify as well, this isn't where NVIDIA opens on earnings day one. This is where it closes at the end of earnings day one. So it's day one performance here versus where it closed the night of the earnings report, right? So, yeah, I mean, as of Q1 2027, that would have been the report that we got in May, roughly flat, and actually kind of breaking this downtrend of having worse and worse day one performances that we kind of started here in Q1 of 2026. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see what we get here from NVDA tonight. But I think either way, this earnings reaction likely to be negative. Furthermore, I just finished and I'm going to post in the next 10 minutes or so the implied earnings moves calendar for tonight. NVIDIA, smallest implied move of the names reporting tonight, and it's not even close. So as you guys can see here in recent quarters, the earnings reaction, like this is the 0% line, it really has been pretty close to zero, or just a little bit below zero. We're probably not expecting a massive move here, but that being said, if we do in fact get a massive move, it could be a pretty big look for NVDA from a trading perspective. That is today's segment of To the Window, to the Wall. This visual already out on X at TTV Research. I also posted earlier today a look at all of Trump's Nvidia trades that he disclosed for June of 2026. So you can find that there as well. You can also find Sean and Neil over at the desk. Join us for the Nvidia earnings at 4:20.
Could you imagine that 25%?
I know.
So I think the problem with NVIDIA really is just how heavy it is. Like, It's already 7% of the S&P 500. So it's like the average, here, let's look at it. And first of all, this just keeps on bouncing. I'm not in love with Intel anymore. We still have pretty much 75% of the position, or maybe 80% of the position. I don't know. I was just gonna say, like, as far as NVIDIA is concerned, it's already 7% of the S&P 500 and much more of the NASDAQ. There's only so much weighting that like funds can have in a name before, it just becomes too much of a piece of the pie. So honestly, the law of averages, like it's too hot. Like, I don't know what the average street rating on this price target, 305. Like whatever number comes out, like whatever happens today, and we can run through the expectations, everything like that. It's just the numbers are mind blowing, and they're gonna hit them. It's just what are you supposed to do? Like when you meet your numbers, it's like you need to have a bigger TAM somehow. You need to have a bigger total addressable market. Like, you know, the GPUs that are being used now are NVIDIA. The GPUs that are going to be being used in the next 5 years are all going to be from NVIDIA, like the higher end ones, right? We got that deal with Kimmy and all that kind of stuff today, but let's be real. You know, NVIDIA is going to be there. So their numbers are going to keep on being what they are, I feel like. Maybe we're wrong, and there's a problem with all of this, right? The circular financing could fall down. But if you have an overall price target of 305 on the street, and the numbers come out just bangers tonight, right? And they're huge. What are people going to upgrade it to? 350? Like, we're so far away from those numbers right now that I wonder how much new money is actually going to go to work into NVIDIA. So, you know, maybe an important thing would be China, if you talk about the TAM, right? Getting a little bit more aggressive there in China with some of the, and we need to wait for the president to speak on that too, right? Is that going to be allowed or whatnot? But for me on NVIDIA, we'll talk about this more tonight as you guys join us live here for the NVIDIA watch party. But it's going to be interesting to see what the reaction to the stock is. And I just feel like the numbers just keep on beating and raising and everything keeps on happening. Yet 4 of the last 6 reports resulted in a negative day 1 move. So I'm not sure what to expect. I think everybody knows all of this. So to me, I think the stock will go up tomorrow just because regardless of what they say, I think there's too much negativity sometimes around, hey, it's too big to fail type of thing. I think NVIDIA can go up tomorrow regardless of what they print, but it's just so heavy. Like 7% is such a big weighting. And I just don't know, like for myself, it's already the #1 stock in my portfolio. Like, am I actually going to add to it tomorrow with what they say? Yeah, or am I just going to cheer it on? Like, I think we'll be like, you know, like it's already 10%, let's just say of my holdings, maybe more. And it's just like, oh my God, what are we going to do now? Add to that, you know, or just cheer on your current position. And I think if people are full on their boat right now, it's going to be hard to get them back.
I think that's the problem. And then you own some in the index too, because you own the indexes. Yep. With that just bumps your percentage up. I think it's a matter of like how far can it go more than anything else. Like that's where my skepticism comes from. Just one quick note: Abercrombie's trying to get back above VWAP, 33% after this pullback. Is there a more ridiculous?
That's a great one.
Like for this to do what it did the day after Dick's Sporting Goods had that flush. Like it's just the complete polar opposite. But yeah, it's breaking away from VWAP here and try and catch. I should have put a stop order breaking, but I just saw it breaking this 146 and didn't see it fast enough to have had a stop order for the breakout. But I'm going to try and get picked up on the bid and then put a stop underneath. The prior bar under VWAP is 144.80 or so. So I'll give it to like the 3/4 mark. I'm just going to try and get a 146 fill if I can. And this one has a second life with it. But just going back to NVIDIA, like if we start thinking about like where this could go, like that expected move, the 6%, like it's just, it takes you barely breaking out the local high and doesn't even get you to the high.
Right.
Like that's the thing that gets me. It's like, okay, well, that puts you at a weird spot to try to get some fresh highs. And yeah, I just, my word this morning, and Jared had a great question. It was, you know, what's the one word you would use to describe the day? I was kind of thinking it's NVIDIA day. So that's why I was sort of thinking disappointment. Because I think no matter what happens, I think we'll be disappointed. If it goes down after beating top and bottom, we'll be disappointed. If it goes up, we'll be disappointed that it didn't go up enough based on the numbers. I feel like one way or another, we've gotten so accustomed to how big and great everything is about this stock that we're just never we're just never satisfied. Like you can't be, you know what, here's I just thought of an analogy. Like last year, I'm a big Toronto Blue Jays fan. Nobody thought they were going to the World Series last year, but they got to Game 7 and were like 1 inch away from winning the World Series. And no matter what they do this year, it's like if we don't get back to the World Series, it's just not going to feel like it's good enough.
Well, it's not good enough.
And that's the thing with NVIDIA. Like they got there, they were the best for so long, and even though they haven't been, like there's plenty of other names, like some memory names have been better, and like the Marvells, and like lots of other names have been better for the last year and a half. But you still have that expectation, like it should be NVIDIA leading us, and they're not. But you still, expectations are what they are, unfortunately. Oleg just asking in the chat, what's going on with Boyle? I don't know. Usually they move more on Thursday. Like Nat Gas supposed to move on Thursday after they have their inventories. But yeah, the pullback on Nat Gas could, and I don't know for sure because I haven't heard anything, seen anything. But here's USO. Like USO pulled back like $2 off the highs into VWAP. And a lot of times when there's weakness in energy, Boyle kind of takes it on the chin more. Why? Because there's a ridiculous amount of supply of natural gas. And overall, this is not, you have splits and all that stuff, but overall, it's basically been short for a long time on Boyle in the general sense. If your bias is short, it's kind of like having a long bias on the S&P 500. If you have a short bias on natural gas, you typically win. So usually you're not asking the question, why is it going down? It looks for excuses to go down. If it was spiking, then it would be a bigger deal. But yeah, there is a bit of a move down going into crude futures. Crude oil just settled now at 230, and it was making a down move, so it could just be related to that as to why Boyle is moving. We'll see. What's going on?
Really surprised that oil didn't really move a whole bunch today. I mean, we did get some stories early. I mean, it had a move up 1%, but if you see sort of where we started from, as Neil just mentioned, we still hold above VWAP as we're now closed there on the NYMEX. So crude oil now with a little bit of a spike there at 230, now closing up shop. What's up, Adair?
I alluded to this earlier, but I want to dive here into President Trump's Nvidia trade. So these are disclosed for the month of June of 2026. We already talked on another day earlier this week about a whole bunch of trades he made on other days in mid to late June, but I specifically want to talk about the Nvidia trades in their own visuals. So this is in thousands of US dollars. When it says 250, it's not 250 million, it's $250,000. That's also the maximum amount because these are reported in ranges. But anyways, he sold up to $250,000 worth of Nvidia stock on June 12th of 2026. A couple days later here on June 15th, so that was the Friday of the June 12th. On the Monday, he buys up to $250,000 worth of Nvidia. Then he buys another up to $15,000 worth of Nvidia on June 16th, so the next day. So he's buying some Nvidia over those days. Then he sells on June 23rd, so a week later, up to 50,000 of Nvidia, and then he buys another up to 50,000 of Nvidia on June 24th. So he's almost like cycling it, which is really interesting. Now, if you do the math on this, assuming again the maximum ranges, he would have ended up net buying 15,000 worth of Nvidia. So I think these trades are net green. And again, this is assuming the maximum, so they would, I think, have to be net green if I'm doing the math correctly. But either way, this is an interesting look here. President Trump's very circular, I'll put it that way, trades here on NVDA. And again, the fact that a lot of these are made within days of each other, all of the trades cumulatively made within 12 days of each other. Let's see, I guess we'll find out in a couple months what he traded of NVIDIA going forward in other days, but I thought this was interesting. And I thought on NVIDIA earnings Eve, it deserved an infographic of its own. Back to you.
There you go. Thank you, Adair.
NVIDIA Eve. Yeah. Oh, you mentioned my guy over there, Marvell. They're reporting tomorrow.
We didn't even mention that.
So, I mean, what an absolute monster. I don't know if you don't have that one, or Adair, written on your thing?
Of course I do.
Oh, yeah,
it's coming out tomorrow.
Right.
Because I like to kind of keep it tight, but it is on the weekly calendar. If you go look at the weekly calendar.
Yeah, I'm getting it right now.
I don't like to post the earnings previews until the day of or the night before because the estimates change and I want to be as accurate as I can.
Right.
No. Yeah, I know. I thought I heard Adair say, oh, or something like that. So I was like, oh, I didn't know. Maybe it was something that was forgotten, but never forgotten is an earnings play by Adair. So right there, yeah, tomorrow is Marvell, IREN, Ulta Beauty. Maybe Ulta Beauty you need to get into finally. We'll have a look at that one. We did hear a story, something about HP and Huawei earlier today. HP not using Huawei chips apparently. They'll come tonight as well. So we get some CPUs. We get, another name there, Salesforce. I don't know. We probably didn't focus enough on that. They're going to be reporting tonight as well. And Salesforce's calendar chart doesn't look the most.
It's not
the greatest. It's made a nice move back, so I'll give it that. Synopsys, Dara mentioned that yesterday as well. So they're going to report tonight after hours. Agilent, Viva, and then there's another big one, CrowdStrike. So join us tonight. I think it's Okta. They're all big. So we'll see tonight. Many of you probably holding more than one of these names in your account. I can guarantee probably one for sure. And then tomorrow, I like Best Buy. I know that Best Buy has been getting hit. We talked about what happened to Dick's Sporting Goods and some of the retail names. As Target goes one way, Walmart goes the other, yada, yada, yada. I still like Best Buy. Dollar General, one of the better dollar stores. Both of these names, not really either one is in Canada. I think there's a Dollar Tree around my house somewhere, but it's not a big one. And then tomorrow night, big, right? Sentinel
Big
1
time.
should be interesting. Marvell, Autodesk, Alta Beauty, IREN, Affirm, which I don't like. I don't really like the fintech names, but Affirm's been doing well. You can't complain about it.
Just don't
really.
forget what Klarna got punked.
I know.
I don't know about that, man. Klarna got really hit hard.
Yeah, we'll
I'd be a little cautious with Affirm.
I'm gonna retweet that.
But look, Arun Warrior.
There it is.
Okay, guys, I promise here.
I will wear.
2K donation if Sean Neal wears.
Give me a wig right now.
No. I literally have. I've got something at home that a few years ago I used for Halloween. It's done. Are you crazy? I just gotta find. I've got a good one, and all I gotta do is bring it in tomorrow. That's a done deal. If we had one here, that would be easy. But for sure, I know I've got one at home. I just gotta dig it up, and I'll wear it the whole day on the stream. You can donate 2K. You crazy? Easy.
I mean,
light work.
I just asked Marissa, where's that wig? Because I think we have
Light
something
work.
from home as well.
Well, because you know what? I think I have the one from remember Pulp Fiction?
Yeah, that's what I think. I think I must have.
So
that
Sean
one
and
too.
I did. Everyone knows who we dressed up as Pulp Fiction because who else would it be?
I was the black guy.
And I was clearly John Travolta's character, obviously.
I was Samuel Jackson.
Arun Warrior, done.
Yeah, we can get that.
Light
done.
work.
We can get that all figured out. Right there. I'd love to do that, and if that's that helps, then obviously that's kind of like Neil just said, kind of an easy one. All right, and thanks for suggesting that, Arun Warrior. I mean, I think that's huge. 1,000 is great. Anything is great. 87.40. So we just dropped off again from that level. I'm gonna have to put an offer now at 25. At 87.43's rate there for. I was gonna put 25%, but I didn't. Less than that. We'll just put 10% out right here at 87.45. Hopefully we're able to get that, and that's just exactly where we got before. It just went to the downside. I almost got longer. I'm at 87.12s right here to see if we can get something longer, but we just missed it. So if we can get something just even a couple more pennies higher than where we've been at right now, we'll take that and see if it can continue its extension to the high side. Because look at the market. The market's, needless to say, I was almost gonna say it's breaking out, but it's not really. It's just taking out some of these highs, and if anything, just hovering around them right now and debating what it wants to do. Easily could this market come back into the 50-period moving average right now. So that would be an interesting one to look out for, watching the market here and how Intel wants to play that game with it as well. Hey, Rob, how's it going over there? Oh, Rob, I have something to ask you actually, but it's about afterwards. There's Salesforce. So as I was just saying, Salesforce on a run, right? I had to catch myself there when I was saying, well, Salesforce has been in a little bit of trouble. It got hit there during SaaSmageddon. I think it had something like 20 straight down days right there from June 2nd all the way to June 24th, it looks like. Not a green day. And since then, I mean, it's been the time of my life, Green Day. But there it is, all the way to the downside. And then now we have huge moves back to the upside there from its 150 low all the way to 204. That's 35% upside there since late June. So what a monster move right there for CRM coming through one more time. So hopefully they can report a decent number today, hold that 200 period moving average down there at $200, and then blast off back to the upside. A name that I own that's small, but it's been in my account for a long time, so we'll have to wait on Salesforce. I never, just like that in Shopify, I don't really do too much sales on those names. We can go over to Neil, and I just want to tell Rob something, and then I could
it's
show him.
My issue with Chrome is looking like maybe I have a fix for it, because Chrome is annoying. I don't know, maybe I'm like, I love Alphabet, but my Chrome it insists on constantly crashing. It's hilarious, like every single day. So you just showed me something. So PM&R, I don't know, maybe it needs to be more of a scalp trade. Like I'm looking over, I'm seeing what's happening in IBIT. Like IBIT's pulling back, so it makes ultimate reason to hold. You're playing off the lower high in ETH, so I feel like we should be following, but you're just not doing much of anything. Really needed to have that stop order for the punch in ANF, because it broke that 46, goes right to 48, and then it just stopped moving again. So I think because we did miss that breakout trade, it's either wait for it to maybe dip back into VWAP or just take the next breakout. So either we dip into VWAP or we get the next consolidation break in that name. Plenty of people are saying Nvidia is trying at the volume weighted average price. I'm a big Star Wars fan. Do or do not. There is no try. That's the thing. If it's going to break out long, it has to break out long. Like you got to get above VWAP and hold bids above here. Otherwise, this is probably more of a short than anything else. So yeah, I'm not that. I was looking to prefer like that late day rally long into the close, or at least some kind of a scalp long. But the way this is going, for it to trend up and go right into VWAP, I still wish we had shorted this stupid thing, to be honest with you. So I'm just looking for something moving more. And ANF, barring something else, like ANF feels like it has a better opportunity. If he breaks his consolidation or a dip and rip off of VWAP, just not really thinking much else. Core Dump is asking, what do we think about IBM? IBM is one of the trickiest names out there because, like a lot of software companies, the chart stinks. It doesn't look all that good, right? Like that doesn't look like a very good chart, and it's not very bullish. But they have made some serious headways in quantum, and I think it's a very good upside play for quantum. If you're looking for a shot play, they have a core business. It still works. And then I always, when I think about something on a longer time frame, which this is for me, like I've liked IBM for a while, but you go to the monthly chart, see the 200 level, the prior high going all the way back to 2013. That's where the breakaway was when I started liking IBM. It was that breakout. That's why I made it a pick that year for IBM, for myself. And it's just pulling right back, and the last wick held the low, and this is a productive, I mean, the month isn't over yet, but this candle is like a recovery to hold the higher low. So I do like that as an entry for the long term. Just understand that it's not in favor right now. The CEO told you that himself. He said the spend is going to where? It is data center, it is cybersecurity, and they're taking the brunt of it because of that. So it's not, again, they're not in favor, but they're at a pretty solid spot. I just think you might have to temper some downside if you're trying to hold on. This stock, it knows how to go sideways for a long time before it eventually breaks out. And the range hasn't even condensed on this yet. Like it's still very, very volatile. Let the range condense, and that could take a year, maybe a year and a half potentially. But I still love the upside long term. Like for me, it's a stock I'd rather accumulate as opposed to anything else. So yeah, that's my thoughts on that. What else we got going on here? Let us know what you guys are watching in the chat, because to me, the market is a little bit quiet. Like I see the Qs over here. Here, I'll show you. I see the Qs. Look at the barcode. You're not trying to force anything. Like you're not high enough to play off the highs. You're not really breaking out. There just seems to be nothing going crazy. Bart says in SoFi and Meta small. I'm annoyed with SoFi. And it's really just that had it right early and then just got, like I called it sloppy because I think it was. Like we had the breakout, dip into the prior high, add on the break of the high, and then we had the trend. And then we held on to a piece for the dream, holding like 10%, right? Like just a little piece for it to break out. And then I put a bid at the high for a dip with my same stop order. Like same stop, but then bought it up here. It's like, why? Like if I'm gonna buy there, you gotta have a stop. It's not a huge difference, but I think it's sloppy. You wanna have a stop there. You want confirmation here and then go longer. But this is interesting. Like this could be, instead of Nvidia breaking through VWAP, this could be a break through the volume weighted average price. I still love what's happening in SoFi. Like all of this accumulation off the 50 period, moving average on the daily and the $18 level. They got the earnings dump and then had a great rally back. You're holding the top end of the consolidation. Yeah, I still am pretty bullish on SoFi in a general sense. It just needs to make that big definitive breakout. Today it tried. Let's get through VWAP, and that could be a bit of a trade potentially. We'll see.
We can't show my screen yet. Rob's trying to fix a few things over there. Yeah, but it's okay. No, it's I just want to show you guys right here, if I can move this out of the way quickly. There it is. Now it's all messed up. But I am. Oops. How do I get back over here to this screen now?
You want me to show?
This way. I just hit OK. No, I'm just going to say I'm now into Meta. So Meta long right here. And I'm going to let Rob do his thing for a second. We are long right. Oh, you cannot show it anymore? OK. Okay, we'll get it all figured out.
I can put the Meta chart up and you can speak to it.
It doesn't matter. Yeah, I was just going to say, we just did take that long as it breaks through that level right there on Meta. So, yeah, 57.20s or so long right now on Meta as it's coming back in. So I just want to say that was a level that we're looking at, 578 to dump out of it if there's a problem. So on Meta. But that's just a trade that I'm working with now. We are getting ready soon to throw over to SIA, but I was going to say 578 breakdown will stop out of Meta. So I just wanted to let everybody know about that. I'm going to let Rob quickly get involved here, and then we'll go back to our regular scheduled program after I put this short in soon on Meta, this stop order. But okay, that's about it. I apologize. I shouldn't have had Rob come over here and do this while we were trying to get into a trade, but okay, there it is. We'll go back over to Neil quickly.
Yeah, absolutely, and no worries. I mean, at the end of the day, it's live. You got to deal with it. You're not going to you're not trading on an abacus. You're trading on a computer, and sometimes you're going to have those types of issues. But for anyone that didn't see, this is the break that obviously Sean was talking about, like right in here, like this 579 on a bit of a breakout. That looks like SoFi just crept through that volume weighted average price for me. So like there's this is what I like to see. This is what Nvidia should have done. I mean, whatever. Nvidia can do whatever the heck it wants to do. But the test of VWAP looks like it's going to fail. Put in this nice little reversal candle or indecision candle, and then we break back out, close above, go into the long. The stop can go right under here. Again, it's going to be, you'll hear me say a lot of times, yeah, it's probably a relatively tight stop. These flies, man. Relatively tight stop. But there's room to get back to the, the mid-1905 zone, get that 10 cents, and then maybe back into the high as well. So I do like that for sure. You know what I just saw? This is just messed me up too. Ask liquidity. $BHVN is a ticker. All morning I thought you were teasing Bovin. I can't, that's crazy, because I was completely convinced. We have one of our viewers, Bovin, is all about the small cap trades and always, Sharif is always talking to Bovin. And when I saw that in the chat every single time, I thought the same thing was happening, or we would have called this stock up. This is an actual stock. Oh, that's hilarious. I really thought you guys were, it was like a ticker. Sometimes people put $Sean or $Neil. I always thought this was like a Bovin thing, but it's not. BHVN, and a good one too. Look at this thing go. 13 low into an 18 break. Why not? That's super spicy. Unbelievable. Yeah, who knows? Who's trading Bovin? Mike Peter Ryder apparently is trading Bovin. There's a super chat in there. Yeah, there's Bovin. The OG Bovin, as Sharif always likes to call him. The OG Bovin. Okay, finally. This is where, remember I was saying I like to get involved, but I wanted this to break trend? Now you have a shot to have broken the trend here. I actually may have broken it there, but you know what? This is where I would like to get involved. So for me, Intel was a short earlier, but it's picking up on volume. You're breaking away on the trend line. So I think this is the time for myself to get in, give it 220s, and this makes a lot of sense to me. Icons, you guys should have the ostrich laugh from Family Guy every time you guys say a dry joke. Anyways, do you guys use technical patterns like head and shoulders? Yeah, I don't specifically use head and shoulders or any obvious technical pattern, but I do believe in the sort of the obvious signs of what it means matter to me more. To me, I'm not gonna say this is a head and shoulders, but this is like a reverse head and shoulder. Let's call it so shoulder, bottom, and then another shoulder. It's what this means to me, and what that means to me is you have a wipeout bottom, right? A rejection underneath 86. And then reclaim of that, and then that prior support, after broke, turns back into support, and then you get a continuation to the upside. So that would be a reason to look for a long there or there if I saw it. So that's not necessarily following a head and shoulders pattern, as opposed to just listening to what it means in a general sense. So yeah, when you're trading, that's the kind of thing I would look for. But it's not specifically that it has to be a head and shoulders. I just look for reasons to go long and reasons to go short. And to the extent that that tells me a story about where support might be, that I can go long in front, that's enough for me. Let's go to the desk. Sia has an update for us. Bye-bye, DM&R.
Let's take a look at what is happening now here. So SPY currently down 0.20%. The triple Qs are up very minutely, but still up. And the Dow is currently down 0.24%. Now, what is happening now is we're going to take a look at DKS here in focus. You have Morgan Stanley that, sorry about that, Goldman Sachs, my apologies, has said DIX is a great buy after plunging 31% as of Tuesday. And An analyst at Goldman Sachs has reiterated a buy recommendation, but has also slashed its 12-month price target to $170. That is down 37% from its objective of $271. Additionally, we're also preparing for Nvidia reporting after the bell around 4:20 p.m. today. However, shares are not seeming to like it as much. In anticipation, Nvidia is currently down 1% on the day. And falling. Nvidia's added overall less than 13% in this year, that is 2026, which is a slowdown from the recent years of monstrous, I would say, gains amidst the AI boom that has been going around. So Nvidia currently down 1%, and you have DKS, and I'm going to check levels off just one more time, that is up over 3.5%.
Thank you, Sia. We're almost back. I think we're going to get you on screen back in just a couple seconds. Thank you, Rob, for that for sure. Oh, Cisco, wherefore art thou?
I thought, oh my
Cisco. You see, Cisco breaking out in a pretty nice way there. But just as we were throwing to Sia, and we had to throw to Sia, you would have seen, because I flipped back to it to be able to tell you guys, there goes BM&R. Stop to fail on this one. It just took out the high again. So this time, legitimately, it broke the top. The last wick, it didn't really clear out the high. This time, you have cleared out the high. So we'll be done with that one. SoFi still just sort of creeping back above the volume weighted average price. We're looking at the prior high and then that the 19.2 level. It'll show you why 19.2. Very simple. That just goes back to last week on Friday, the top on SoFi. Also about 1% as well. So a couple of reasons that we like that level on that bad boy. Yeah, nothing too crazy. The market just made a retest to the top, so if that can pull some things up, that's going to make a heck of a lot of sense to me.
Is the wrong one.
And when I say the market, I'm talking about the Qs, but maybe we should look at the SPY too. Like the SPY just did a nice pop, goes into the lower high. The Q's a bit stronger because that just popped right into the top. So this is a good spot. Like if you're pulling back, looking for things that can be reloads at support levels, and then maybe another move up. That's why I'm going to like SoFi. Just get a reload on the dip into VWAP. I jumped in for like the umpteenth time on Intel because that finally crested off that prior high yesterday's close. Looks like it just tried to break that trend. If it holds 87.2, then I like that dip to get back into the top there. Sorry, I'm listening to Rob and Sean try to fix the PC. And it sounds like, when you're on with IT, it's like if you try turning it off and on again, do this and do that, and I don't know. It feels like it's going to be just fine, for sure. Palantir just took out the high again.
It just sucks because we missed out on $2 there. We have a big it's working. We have a big position on Meta there, and unfortunately, we were not able to capture the actual move on Meta. But we're in Intel now again as well. So thanks, Rob, for that. We had to duplicate some screens up there. Thought it would take a lot less time than it actually took, but it didn't. So that's always the case, as Neil said, when you're dealing with some IT right into there. But yeah, Meta, that was a recent trade that we just put on. It went up to 81s right there when we had it. This never even went against us. This just rip citied all the way up to 50.81. By the time I sat back down here, we punched a little bit out at 579.75, so right into here. So yeah, kind of sucky, that we unfortunately called on IT to fix the problem, which never got fixed. But anyways, not a good move by me there to do that. But okay, we're gonna put this Bitcoin back down into there, and then we'll get watching on all of the stock. You do see also that Intel didn't do anything. We got another fill there. We told you we're sitting at 45. This one I don't feel so bad about. That went to 48 only. We'll see if that gets going. But I do kind of want to hold out. Look, I don't think this trade's over with. I will put another bit on of Meta right here. And we had Luis on earlier, and he was talking about, listen, if you're not sitting around taking these fills on these stocks, the spread is what will get you every time. So yeah, it's trying to get me right now on Meta. But it's starting to tighten up a little bit. We'll see if we can break back above 580 now on META as we continue to throw out some shade on this name. And, it was up 1 point. I hope it goes higher. I just looking for it to break right now. At one point, the stock was up 5% this morning as Meta ran on the discovery of only an $18 billion fine spread out over 10 years. So it's not like a huge decision point there for Meta that they're going to have to worry about financially. What the decision was more affecting Meta was the fact that there was screen time restrictions on students and kids, and you couldn't use Meta products unless you're 18 years old or something ridiculous like that. So yeah, not a great, or couldn't use it free reign until you're 18. That seems a little crazy to me. But here we go. Let's see if we can mature upside a little bit. The stop was always going to be at the 200 period. The 200 period is where it is now. I was going to use the 50 period moving average for Meta to get stopped out on. So that would be roughly around 578.50. Hopefully we can, again, grow into this trade and get a little upside right now on Meta. The highest we got to right now was roughly where we are now, 580.80 or so for META. It looks like Intel has no problem going the other way, maybe. All right, what do you guys want to talk about? Apple's moving around here today as well. This VMAR just halted. VMAR actually just opened back up at 240. So a little bit of a trade there on the halt scanner, but nothing to look at. Today, there's some sort of a monster company reporting today. I forget what it's called. NVIDIA coming there today. So that's going to be a mover. We've seen a nice little movement back off that 209.50 right up to VWAP again. And now dropping out through VWAP is NVIDIA. But yeah, we'll have to watch out to see where this one eventually winds up going. We just did get a high take there on Meta and then it dropped. So again, like being there means something. That was 580.40s. 580.38s, I think, to be exact. He got 35s. So that was a drop out there. Wish that was right back where it was now. That's another move down of 80 cents off that last out. And look at that. Like news, I guess, like spikes all the way down to 579.25. And in the same minute, 580.40s. So it had about a $1.20 movement there in 1 minute. So got to be careful with this move. Maybe we just stop out on the breakdown and just say, you know what? It is what it is at this point. We're only out of 35% of it. It is a winner right now on Meta. No, someone talking about Apple. Andre, could you test my ear when
Apple? Well, I don't know. Apple just made this move a few minutes ago, and maybe it's technical.
Okay.
No news or anything, right? Like the last piece of information was at noon that they're holding their event on September 9th. That's the last thing I see. And then you see this big breakout here. We get to 315. Again, it could just be a technical break. Like, I don't know. Like, maybe that's all it is. Wait a minute. Manny Olives. Yeah. Dolly Parton, now Tim Curry.
Tim Curry passed away.
Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Yeah.
Clue. This is one of the... he played Pennywise in It. That dude is one of the most underrated and absolutely hilarious. He's in Home Alone 2.
Yeah, I know. I saw. I didn't recognize the name immediately, and then Marissa sent me his picture. And I was like, this guy. I feel like he's one of those actors where, like, you just see him everywhere.
Yeah, like he's.
Maybe we can show his picture. I don't know if people are.
Yeah, he's one of those. It's very true. Like, I think for a lot of people, like, you probably have seen him in a million things, and you just can't place him. And he passed yesterday at 80. So, they were both. Dolly Parton was 80 as well. Mm-hmm. Oh, that sucks. He's hilarious.
I know that's higher than the average expected lifespan, but I still feel like
these days.
I still feel like that's young.
Yeah, these days I think it's not the same. Like, I feel like nowadays you live a little bit longer.
Yeah.
And Clue is one of the funniest. Clue is so hilarious. Have you seen the movie? The movie Clue?
No.
It's basically the movie for the board game.
No, I know what you're talking about, but I
haven't
have not seen it.
And he just steals the show. He steals every single guy's in, man.
Okay.
Yeah, he's joking.
Yeah, that's too bad. Good name there, and obviously have left his mark, I would assume. There were all those great movies. So, shout out to not shout out, but condolences to those families. Obviously, as we continue to move forward here.
You know the mark of somebody that left an impression? When you think about them, he's a comedian or whatever, and I can picture a scene in my head, and I can't stop laughing internally and smile. Like Robin Williams was that way. Richard Pryor.
There's another legend, Robin Williams.
Yeah, those. Yeah, those legends, you can't even. But what else is moving around here?
People saying SOAR, S-O-A-R.
SOAR is moving?
That was a name I heard. They were talking about that on the midday as well. SOAR.
Oh, this is
now entering the power hour.
It's going to do 1 billion shares today.
1 billion shares. Oh yeah, that's right. It's under $1.
Yeah, it's only 28 cents. I mean, come on. But 700 million shares, 28 cents. Is there anything? Here's what might be something. This is one of those we could be grasping at straws, but it's in a compression pattern. Like, I could do it from here. Like, I give you that compression pattern. It's kind of the same thing. It'll just lead to the same point. But if you break the compression pattern This could be something on volume just because it's done so much volume. But remember, this plays in both directions. Like that is equally viable for short, which we probably have to pay for locates, and I don't know if I'm going to. Or you get a breakout here. So you could break this compression pattern up, probably need to take out 30 cents, and there's room upside. Just remember, if this breaks 30 cents, VWAP's at 28, the high is at 35. Like you gotta understand, like a 5-cent win on this is really good, and you should be happy with that. But then there's obviously the potential that it does more. Habitual line stepper. These things are not necessarily the best long-term holds. Let's be real about it for a second. But that could be something, SOAR. It's worth putting on the back burner.
There you go, Intel finally going.
Yeah, it is finally going, but we're pulling back into VWAP and SoFi. Not. Unless this shows me it can just pull back, I want to see a bid re-emerge. Otherwise, we'll let it maybe drift to the stop level, which is actually at the 90 level, before getting back in at that break even. But yeah, Intel's starting to pick up a little bit here. That SOAR is not uninteresting. That could be something breaking out, but it has to take out 30 or I'm not interested at all in. Whoa, I thought.
Volume starting to pick up a little bit.
The stock the company name doesn't even begin with an S. It's like Voltero or some nonsense. I don't know why they call it.
Soaring, baby. We did have to take an average price there back in what we got out of. We just got back in at VWAP. So watching out for a drip down now on Meta. Hopefully we can pop through. Intel's really starting to pop and rock and roll right now. So I like ye a lot, Meta, right now as that goes higher. Sharif, my guy, I see you. I see you, Sharif. I object to you not being here. Hopefully you're here tomorrow. Travel well. No, Friday we get back Sharif. So I see him on the plane there. He just mentioned he's on a plane right now, Sharif. We did have Luis Barbado told us you guys had a great time together. So I think looking forward to some stories when you do get back, Sharif. And well-traveled, it looked like this man from England to Paris.
Now I got to punch into SOAR because he just told me
to Mars. Who knows where Sharif went? We'll find that story out.
M-A-R-S, Mars, Mitches.
Bitches?
Mitches.
Okay.
No, I wouldn't say that. I said Mitch.
I got you. You did say Mitch. I was verified.
I'm not going to say a bad word.
All right.
There.
Before we get in trouble from you know who again, Sia, like per usual. If we're ever late or we call her the wrong name or something like that, we definitely hear about that. So without any further ado, as Intel upside, as Meta finally starting to go higher right now, it is Miss Sia back over at the desk.
Thank you for that wonderful introduction. I loved it. Electric tech, let's take a look at the sectors right and dive into it. Nvidia is currently down close to 8%. Like I said, bit of a bearishness ahead of earnings post-market today. Apple currently up 1.5%. AVGO, is currently down 0.70% to be precise, but we do have INTC that is flat at the moment, followed by KLAC and ADI. Dell is doing okay. WDC also fine. We have GLW that is up over around 3.5%, and ANET, ANET is up 6%. Tech services, Meta is climbing, yes, over 1.5%, close to 2% now, but Google is on the downside, 1.5% with Microsoft in the green, and Palantir, Oracle soaring above the 2.5% mark, with Palantir up 3% on the day. Netflix, PANW, and CRM flat on the day. CRWD currently up 2.6%. We've in finance, bit of a mixed sentiment, just like before from earlier in the day. BRKB, Visa, MasterCard, Bank of America, JPM, all flat on the day, followed by Amex, that is AXP, and C that are flat on the day as well. MS and GS continuing to slide past the 1.5% mark. You have Coin and Robinhood continuing to slide into the downside, with Coin leading the duo down close to 3% actually on the day. Retail trade, you have Amazon and Walmart in the red, followed by Home Depot that was a bit flat earlier, is now down. TJX down close to 2%. CVS, however, is in the green, up 3% on the day. Carvana is down 2.5% here as well. Producer manufacturing, we have LRCX, and AMAT that are flat on the day. But you have CAT, GEV, and the name that I have been checking since they reported, DE, that is up 1%. We have LITE that is up 6.5%. Consumer non-durables, KO is the one name that I would mention because it's sliding a bit past the 1.5% mark. Other names in the sector are not that big. Nothing crazy happening here. KHC, however, past the 3%, close to the 3% mark. Health tech, Lilly has been not having the best day today. It's down 3% and over, has been down 3% and over earlier in the day as well. ABBV and MRK as well, a bit bearish here, However, Amgen unaffected and flat since earlier in the day as well. But you have TMO that is up close to 1%. Energy minerals, a bit of a mixed sentiment as well. XOM is now down over 1%. CVX is flat. Tesla in consumer durables down 1%. Other sectors, I would say consumer services, utilities, health services, even process and industrial services, nothing too crazy going on. It's a mixed bag of stocks. It's a mixed sentiment across these 4 sectors. But finally, I want to take a look at transportation with Uber still continuing to slide a bit into the downside. UAL as well. Dash is now up over 1.5%. UPS is up close to 1%, and FedEx up 1% as well almost.
Thank you, Sia. I have one request. Can there be one day that GE Vernova and Caterpillar go up that Eli Lilly doesn't wipe out the entirety of that move? Just one day. Yeah. Just once. Because if that's your big... Much. I'm just saying, when for my personal portfolio, it just always ends up net nothing on those stocks. The last couple of weeks, no matter what they do, those ones are net nothing, and I like them all. Grim Reaper, Dell is moving. The market's moving. Like, everything is bouncing. If you're not bouncing right now... Well, I mean, not like physically. If your stock is not moving right now, then it's a problem. Dell was already a good-looking chart, and Dell, if you like stocks at the 50 period, why not? That is a bit of a head and shoulders, but whatever. I still think it's bullish. But I think everything just got a jump because the NASDAQ just took out that high. The wedge break that happened on Intel might be running into a little bit of resistance here. I'm just reminding myself, this is that's right. This is the close level from yesterday. When you zoom it out, you begin to realize this is why we're having trouble, I think, here. This was the pullback, was 87.6. Yeah, you know what? And I could always be wrong. I'm going to listen to myself here. Like, this resistance happened the first time we tested that level. It rejected. The second time, it finally broke a bit out with these higher lows and held the trend line. I'll just quickly take the scalp trade on that. If it can break out above 87.65, that'd be a different story. Sorry, Sharif, but SOAR isn't going to break to the upside. The market's going, and the recent longs have been good, but not this small capper. Sharif was watching, he's like, yeah, it could go. Nope. It's back under VWAP, and the volume is dying a little bit on SOAR. So if you're looking for a small capper, then you got to look somewhere else.
Yeah, I'm definitely not looking at any small cappers right now. We're in one of the biggest caps period, Meta, and yeah, it's been a good one, man. We're out of 2/3 of this already, and I just shouted out Brian Shannon, so big shout out to VWAP trading again. Just drops right into VWAP. We sat there, we took it. All we did was reload this initial position right there. So we got out of 1/3 on the way up there, wishing that obviously we had gotten more out, but we had those technicals difficulties there. But upside there, and then when it fell back in, again, just took it out, took some more out. Like, once it started to pop through, like, really happy with this return here on Meta today. By far, my number one stock. Like, it's really not even close today for Meta. In fact, it's like the only name that we're going to be up on today. So that's why it's not close. Punch out a little bit more at 580 here. Hopefully, I do have an offer at 580.85, which is the top of this move. So was hoping that it would extend out again. Still want to be there for that. My stop order still remains the same, but I think we should maybe adjust it. I'm going to refresh right now on Meta. We could even get out at VWAP at this point. The 200 period is actually, the 50 period is what I was using initially to get out of this trade. So why don't we just keep on respecting that? If we drop below 579, we can call this one a wrap and get out. We have literally 1/3 left right now as it comes. Well, we have 33. We had 33% left. We only have 30% left right now on the trade. So 3/10 left on this one. And then we did take advantage of Intel as well. That came right up into that level again. And we actually got a 68 or 69 fill there on Intel as it goes. Micron for tonight, it won't move tonight, but we could have a look at the chart.
I mean, that's sort of the thing. Like, you just, look, NVIDIA matters to a lot of what is going to happen for memory, for the hyperscalers, sure, but if we're expecting about 5 points, actually maybe closer to 6 points on NVIDIA, like, what do we think? A couple points at most on Micron? So I don't think it's going to be that big of a deal. The only thing that's of interest from a technical standpoint is, does it break $950? But like, if NVIDIA makes us bullish, then it's going to be pretty important that this is above 950. If NVIDIA's up and we're not above 950, it seems like an obvious spot of resistance. But I like what's happened here. Like, when I was looking at DRAM this afternoon for a potential trade, it was a similar thing. You got the wipeout bottom. You're in a bit of a consolidative zone the last 2 days. So ideally, NVIDIA lets us break that out and you can test higher. So it's a thought, but if NVIDIA is sour, then none of this breakout stuff's gonna matter. I just don't expect a huge move out of memory if we're not expecting more than 5.5%, 6% on NVIDIA. David Zed Siamese, thank you for the super chat. Recall guessing the ticker for Anthropic?
Yep.
I do. I just don't remember what we had settled on, because I think we had settled that we thought there was a higher
It
probability.
was like ANTP, I think it was. That might have been an already.
Either way, AH is where they land. I bet you AH is where they land. The two is pretty. It's more rare. Usually
it's a NASDAQ name, so it won't be 2 letters. 4.
In the New York, there's some with 2, I guess, on the New York. Like, they do
there's lots with 2. I mean, there's some with 2 on the NASDAQ. What about Micron?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But I feel like it'll probably be 4, but we'll see. Let's go Urban. Your $80 and $90 calls are already cooking, 17% before earnings. And ANF leading this. Rest in peace, Long John Silver and Pennywise. Yeah, and of course that's reference to Tim Curry. Obviously. But yeah, ANF unbelievable. And whether or not that can lift Urban Outfitters, on sympathy, like sympathy is one thing, it's just, which is great, but everyone gets judged on their own merits. And what can happen is you get a sympathy play that runs something into earnings. If the numbers aren't good, then there's just more reason for it to drop. But it's been a good looking chart for potential breakout. And if it can do half of what Abercrombie did, then that would be fantastic. I don't know that anything has a move like this in it, if we're being real. Like, it's 35% and it's off the highs on ANF, which is just absolutely wild. Yeah, so for me, there's 50 minutes left to go here. I think there can be another shot at the 87 quarter level, maybe on Intel. But as far as SoFi goes, if the market fails the high, which it's trying to do, then the reload off VWAP might not be any good. And this almost could be a reversal short. And this is the NASDAQ. The NASDAQ tried to break out the top. So I like the catch-up trade. You're going through VWAP. If the market continues, you kind of get dragged up with it. But if you fail the high, this is a relatively weak stock. Like, it's red when the market's green. Got to be able to have the flip on this name for sure. So yeah, that might go the other direction on SoFi. And that small capper might break down, but I didn't pay for locate. So like that wedge break on SOAR, I didn't pay for short, so you won't see me in it.
Cerebras, a name that we're probably not covering as much as maybe we should. It's been a good mover over the last little while.
Oh, it's up there.
Down on the day, yeah, but a nice little move here on Cerebras, trying to break outside of the zone now. Good move there, breaking out that 182.50. That was a great little breakout spot. I mean, it's basically the same thing that we're trying to do with, Meta has much more of a different day, but the idea was looking at some of those afternoon levels and then waiting for a breakout to occur. It does happen there on CBRS, so Cerebras making up some moves there. And, this could be a name that's, somewhat affected by NVIDIA as well. The reason why I said Micron won't be, I just don't see NVIDIA really dropping any major stories or bombs today that would affect anything. So I just think they're just going to report their numbers. It's going to be a great number, I hope, and we'll be able to wait to see what the market reacts to it. They're not going to say anything that slows down the data center production or anything like that would be my idea, like throwing cold water on this. No, that would be the opposite. NVIDIA's actually literally doing the complete opposite right now by handing out money. They handed out money to Perplexity yesterday to make sure that they could keep going. It's not that it was a life raft or anything, but it's this whole circular financing that continues to happen, and Oracle's part of that as well. So, I think there's a lot that not only NVIDIA has invested as well, but reputation on the line. They've invested in some businesses that they'd like to see profitable, including IREN, and we talked about what Corning's been doing and things like that. So if anything were to come today that was super negative, I'm not sure NVIDIA would be the reason for that to happen. So we have to wait to see what that next story really is as far as that's concerned. IBIT, I want to look at Bitcoin a little bit there today. I had it written down as one of the trades, and I've written down shorting 44.75 would have been a level that I wanted to do today. And 44, the high of the day was 44.55. So that would have been a good little look there. 75 is basically yesterday's closing area was right into here, 70 to 75. So I was thinking if we got back into there, that would be a good short. But you know what? Maybe some of these levels that we write down aren't necessarily and they're not like the be-all, end-all of levels. If it gets into 55 and you're looking at 75, yeah, possibly a decent look able to happen just by taking it 20 cents early. But then when you get a hit, you say, well, why didn't I follow my notes, right? So IBIT kind of just stuck in the middle now, not doing a whole heck of a lot, as you can see. There's the high. It's a little higher than where the low is. Obviously, we're above VWAP right now. But I think if we can come back into that level, then fine. They're on IBIT. And then just a quick discussion, because we're getting out of things, obviously, as this move happened. On the high side, we actually remember we had 30%, 33%. Now we have 25% left. It's still coming back in. We're going to use this level right there, 577.50. It looks like Meta wants to go lower right now, breaking below some of these levels, following the market, trying to hold out on this 200 period. What a crazy day it's been on Meta, man. It's going to be still a top name for myself, but at the end of it all, if this breaks, we'll give back a little bit on this move if it does break lower, which it looks like it may want to do. There's the 200 period. Let's give this a couple seconds, and if it breaks that, then we're out. Remember, the spread right now is 20, 30 cents, so we got to be very, very careful with what our expectation is on what kind of a move that would be satisfactory here, because it's now bleeding to the downside a little bit. Any kind of retracement back up. Let's sit here in the 20s and 30s, see if we're able to get a little bit out now, because it does look like it wants to break lower. And just one move lower wipes this out, and we might get stopped out. I do have it triggering under 577.50. So, we could get wiped out on a major move there. We're not trading with enough shares for my wipeout to do anything to it, but watch out now. There's your 200 period moving average. Just tried to get some out at 30s and 20s there. Didn't work out. So looks like we are now going to suffer the fate of potential swipe down here on Meta, which again, we'll give some back. Won't be the end of the world. Wanted to try it here on Meta. Something moving around. Cerebra is still going higher though. And Intel's trying to catch a bid as well. Okay, cheese in a chair time.
Okay, again, cheese in a chair.
Oh, we got that in.
Semi-serious, I'm going to guess. Did Trump put a tariff on peanut butter and jelly sandwiches or something? Because wheat is up 5% today, and I'm starting to think this whole trade war thing has gone a bit too far.
It broke down.
Well, Canadians definitely think that.
Peanut butter and jam, are we known for that?
PB&J.
PB&J, is that a Canadian thing?
Well, this ETF was a little bit explosive today, and is actually legitimately breaking out, right? Remember, any of these ETFs, they'll reprice all the time and do splits and reverse splits. No, but that has been trending and breaking, and like any other commodity, it is prone to have some swings and moves, and to the extent that the trade war is going to be able to move it. Let's just be real. So I did make the reverse under VWAP because the market, kind of topped out there. And SoFi failed the volume weighted average price, so we'll just look for a short into the low. But I just heard in my ear that SpaceX has did it break No. Hasn't broken 140, but SpaceX just took out the high of the day.
There.
Let's zoom out a little bit.
The wrong name over here. We should be trying SpaceX on the breakout.
Okay, yeah, that is
breakout.
Yeah, it's a 139 break, 140, and actually 140, almost 141 is a bit of a level. We were talking about that earlier on in the week, but there's no news on SpaceX. Just looks like it's strong with the market. And I guess.
Do we want to dance with the devil in the pale moonlight? We might break 140.
Should have shorted that penny stock. Like when it made that trend break, like that's as clean as it gets. Like there is your wedge break on the bottom. Obviously we wanted the wedge break higher. It broke lower, 27 right to 25, but you got to pay for locates if you wanted to do it. So we didn't bother to do it. I think SpaceX going into the close looks interesting. I'm gonna put it wasn't there.
Bye bye.
Gotta make sure I add SpaceX to my list, my imbalance list.
It just tried.
So it's right at 140. I have it breaking by 1 cent just there. And pulling back.
It might have. Because I said bye-bye. I thought the size had disappeared there. I think we might have just taken out 140 there pretty aggressively, but then faded back out. We got stopped out, so I put on a quarter back. I basically put on the exact same position that we had again on Meta. So we did wind up losing on that reload. Let's put it back. Right now, 578, 577, so it's 50 cents. I'm trying to take 50 cents or so. If we can get that back up to 578, take out. Again, if we can take out a quarter of our position, then we'll let it go back up to the upside. Hopefully, Meta wants to work out here late. Intel's working late. Intel's going to be a good trade off these lows right there. And again, it's not even close to VWAP here, Intel. We lost our ways here a little bit when that story hit about the fireside chat. We were short, we got stopped out, then we went long and basically got stopped out again. But since not completely everything, but then we averaging it back in and hoping that that Intel does have a story to tell higher right there. SpaceX, I just wanted to show you guys, this is on a 15-minute chart. I do still think we are going to break that 140. It looks like we even maybe we did. But you just running in, and maybe we can zoom back out a little bit. This goes back to the 19th where, you know, it couldn't make its mind up at 140. Also back here too. So the 18th and 19th are levels where 141 was pretty important. So I think we could, if we do wind up breaking 140, which it's, you know, imminent or maybe it's not, you want to look for this 141, I think, as maybe like not a maximum top, but that's 140.75 right into there, matching with over here as well. So there was the jump off spot there up to 146. So I do think that if you can break and then even break that 141, that's your next area to maybe average up into that trade. If you don't take in many shares the first time, which I can't blame you because now we're fading out, but if you liked it, maybe wait for that one to come into play again right there, 141. So, you know, 140 key, oops, wrong stock. SpaceX, 140 obviously important, but you just saw what happened to it. It got hit and then made its way back down. We already seen that, I think, once today, although it didn't get that high. It got to 139.50 and then dropped. This time we get to 140, and there's the dropout on that one as well. So, yeah, a little nasty behavior there for SpaceX off of that 140. I didn't take it. I mean, I was thinking about it, but once I zoomed out and saw that 141, it was like, maybe let's wait for some sort of a pullback. We're in power hour with now only 20, 30 minutes until the imbalances. So pretty risky trading there on SpaceX, I think, into the close. But maybe a pullback gets us long into 138.50 maybe.
It seemed to have, yesterday was about 600,000 on the imbalance, which is enough. Like SpaceX has moved whenever it's 500,000 shares on the imbalance, despite the crazy volume it does every day. Like it's still doing, you know, north of 50 million every day, not nearly the 100 million it was doing for the couple of weeks after the IPO. Nothing crazy on the early looks. You just mentioned the imbalances there, like ACI, small cell, EQH, SAN. So I'd say nothing burgers on most of the imbalances, at least for now. But Apple might be slowing down.
That's working.
After that push. Like look at all the resistance at 315 on Apple. So it's been on a tear, but here's, let me zoom in so you can see this a little bit better. If I zoom way in, look at the last 4 days in the 50-period moving average. This is built differently. These are all topping tails, and you know, Apple has ended near the lows. So yeah, I think this is a bullish move for Apple, but this 315 fail feels like a nice place to potentially revert. So I'm going to try to slip in here. Just tried 88s, and then we'll get some 85s. Slip a 90 in there, and then just stop out if it breaks the high, right? So 315.25 is going to be the actual top, almost to the dime. 30 cents worth of risk. There's plenty of room for this to get back down. Like there's 34.5, which is 50 cents. That's a little better than 1-to-1, and then 314 is the prior high. So that gives us a target to look for as we're going to the desk for SIA.
Now, let's take a look at three currencies here. First of all, a pair that I want to talk about is the USD INR. I'm going to go into the dollar and finally the Swiss franc. So the USD INR, according to a poll of equity analysts via Reuters, India's stock market will be trading lower by the middle of next year than it did at the start of 2026. And this is the third quarter in a row that they have slashed their outlook, as foreign investors are now moving on to other Asian markets that are more profitable, because that's what is being said here. Indian shares are now down more than 7% this year and are on track for their weakest annual performance in more than a decade. Not a good look here for India. DXY is currently up 0.26% on the day. Many catalysts that we did see and have here as of today. The dollar as well advancing a bit after the batch of U.S. economic data that we got in the morning, and the Jackson Hole Symposium that has started as of today here. USD CHF, finally, we're going to take a look at the Swiss franc and what happened here today. There's also relative strength here. It's up over 0.5% as of right now. Swiss National Bank Vice Chairman Antoine Martin has said that banks that are holding a quote-unquote robust amount of capital are not necessarily at a commercial disadvantage of rivals. And Swiss lawmakers are preparing to discuss tougher capital requirements for UBS. So that is your rundown for Money Talks.
All right. Not so sure I should have stepped into Apple here, but we'll see what winds up happening here with AAPL. I mean, I got to watch this as it's, quite a big position. So we'll have to wait to see what winds up happening here with Apple as it's trying to run the highs right now. I actually liked it because it was underneath the 25 period moving average at that time. Now it's coming right up to it and just hanging out. So, we put on a big part right here at 315.05 now for Apple. So, let's see what winds up happening now back into the downside as, like I just mentioned, man, we have a good amount of shares on. So let's wait to see what happens with Apple. Breaking back above this. I don't really like fighting this trend. It's not great. So that's why, we have the 25 period there, some highs, and just trying to put on easy trades, where we do have those out. So that's what we're doing right now for Apple. We've been getting out. Meta has been doing nothing, so we got to wait for that. That's why we went over here to Apple and see if we can lose more money on Apple. But right there, 315.25s is the new high. It's not new, it just made about 10 minutes ago. We'll have to play off of that one right now. So Apple, I'm in this one here to see where we can go to the upside. Yeah, SpaceX, what's up to Bovin? Did that break 40s now there finally? No. Okay, so, still waiting for that to break one more time. Feel like we have 01s marked down. I mean, in order for it to get to 01s means it would have broke, but I'm not sure. Once it comes back, we'll see that size and how to play properly there off of it. So SpaceX right now at 140. But my focus is, and it's just solely now on Apple, as it has a bunch of those algorithmic trades happening on it right now. So short now at 98. We got to see what happens with Apple.
Yeah, joining the same one. So I think it can move to the downside for sure. Shout out to Bovin. Bovin, check the chat. Did you know you have a ticker, Bovin? That's my question to you. Because BHVN was also a big mover. SoFi, the reverse on SoFi is getting back into the low, and that would not be SoFi. This would be SoFi. There you go. But the low is 1872, so that's where we're looking to get out into the bottom. It's a VWAP retracement trade for sure, and Bovin says, yes, you did know you have a ticker. Okay, good. BHVN's a good one, and it is running today. But SpaceX is the one that's really running. But my first thought when it gets to this 140, it broke 140 by 1 cent. So technically this is a false break. If it puts in a lower high off the opening range top, like that to me looks like a little bit of a short trade. But I don't want a third short trade, and I think it's running out of time to be a breakout trade as well. I'm not into a breakout trade right when the imbalances come out because I tend to think reversions at 350 as opposed to anything else. So yeah, I don't know if I like the breakout on SpaceX anymore. Save that one for tomorrow. It could be something a little bit better.
Boom.
Manuel says CrowdStrike. Yes. I like the rebound in CrowdStrike. The unfortunate thing about the rebound in CrowdStrike is they got to get through earnings. Yeah. So I like what we're seeing with them because they've been spanked a little bit, but yeah, ultimately tonight's just going to be the story for them. And I think they're going to move. I think it's a double-digit move on Crowd. And sometimes the quarter's been very good for a lot of cybersecurity. They've been selling it off anyways. I tend to think it's a buying opportunity, but my problem is between them and PanW, I'm just a little bit too overweight. So I won't be buying the dip. I'll just be holding on CrowdStrike.
Yeah, and I was saying I think that's a problem with Nvidia as well. I think that's the problem with all of these names. People are
too
loaded up. All right, man, we're going to start getting out a little bit more of Apple right there. I just took some 90s on the way out of that one. Like I said, I'm not sure if this name what this wants to do. Happy with doing it. And like I said, with what we have on board right now, just taking some profit, I think is wise. So we got a little bit out there. If it runs the top, it runs the top. But I wanted to get something out on Apple as the futures don't really look like they want to make a move down. And even when they did right there about 10 minutes ago, Apple kind of stopped at the spots I just got out at. So, pretty happy with that. Would have loved to get some low 80s on that take, but we didn't. So now we wait to see what happens with Apple. We got to be pretty patient with it, but it's just we have to wait on Apple. So let's give that a second life there. Let's see what Nvidia is doing into the close. And I wish there was more stuff happening, like VMAR. There's really nothing halting out too much right now. That VMAR, the last halt was 239. There. So there's not much going on this stock right now either. We just talked a little bit about Bitcoin. SMCI, yeah, that's a good one. We actually heard today earlier about that whole Kimmy story about how some of these guys will start to get, different levels of percentage points on, the sharing of the revenue, developed by Kimmy. If Google and Amazon and the other big one over there starts to, utilize what's going on with Kimmy. Okay, just quickly, Apple. Okay, just right back into this level again. I don't mind actually taking a little bit more here. Let's take something out. There we go. We just took a 90. Phil there. I'm still waiting for that's right, Phil, 314.81s to get a little bit more out of Apple on the downside. So, like we always say, different styles. I'm sure Neil's waiting for a little bit more, but
my stop's at 25, which would be 38.
Yeah, same as mine.
So I'm bidding down around the 50s, which would be right around that 1-to-1, and then down here at 314. So like that was the targets that I have based on the stop.
Oh man, if we can get down to 314.50, that would be huge right now. So let's see if we can get a little lower. I want to take the 80s again there. So hopefully we can just get down. And as Luis said, man, there's many different ways. He was watching me trade and he was like, taking out 2% here, 3% there, 4% there. It is tough and it's a difficult style to trade with. But I mean, that's what I kind of have to do there because I don't want to hold this whole thing if it goes all the way up against me. So we just missed it. Like we were just at 81. It went to 83 there. Anyways, looking for those fills on Apple. Hopefully they come as we go over. See, the problem is the futures are making that move lower here and Apple's not doing any of that. So yeah, I'm not in love with this. Hopefully we do get those 80s when we get back from one. But yeah, not looking great right now. We may take a little bit more out here on Apple, even right now at 89.90s, as it looks like it doesn't want to go too much lower than that. Apple right now, let's go and see what winds up happening to AAPL. And back over to the desk with one Anadera.
It's almost time for the Asian markets to reopen in just a matter of hours. Here to take us through what the Asian markets did last night and how they could perform tonight is one.
Thank you, Dara. So Asian markets closing marginally higher overnight, but still trading cautiously, especially ahead of Nvidia earnings and some global tech trends. We see in Taiwan, the TAIEX up nearly 1.5%, closing higher as TSMC also closed at 0.6 up above. It's holding its technical support levels prior to Nvidia's earnings. MediaTek also up 5.6% after posting strong performance throughout the day. Now, Kospi also up nearly a percentage today. We have Samsung up by 2%, SK Hynix up by 0.7%, pre-positioning themselves ahead of earnings from Nvidia. However, large caps were mainly mixed, with Doosan up by 6.3%, Shinhan Financial up 1%, but Hyundai and Kia both falling by 3% each. Now, lower oil prices are also helping ease pressure on South Korean import costs, so that's a good sign for South Korea. In Japan, the Nikkei 225 also up for the day. Some of the key stocks that gained included Advantes up by 3.6%, SoftBank up by 1.5%, Mitsubishi up by 1.4%. Now, traders, of course, awaiting that of Nvidia earnings to see any signals on AI demand, which will affect the stocks at the open tomorrow. Big news coming from Japan, though. Terra Drone. They jumped over 20% today after Japan's defense agency chose their Terra B1 interceptor to enhance that of drone aircraft capabilities. So a huge bid for Terra Drone. Now, as opening for the Asian market comes soon, of course, everyone's going to be interested in how everyone will react to Nvidia earnings later today. With the result coming, it's definitely going to affect the Thursday's open for Asian markets. We got, of course, any updates on AI GPU shipment guidance will put some direction for TSMC, SK Hynix, Samsung, as well as Tokyo Electron. Over in India, we see they were the only laggards today in the region. Their support level now is at 24,100. A lot of IT margin pressure in the region after US basically suspended visa appointments in the region. So keep an eye out for India, see if any persistent metal gains in that region can push them above 24,300 and restore some bullish momentum there. And of course, South Korean Kospi, we know Samsung, SK Hynix, definitely going to react to Nvidia earnings. So see if there's any consistent buying for semiconductors or if the Kospi will hit resistance and go above 6,850 for tomorrow.
Without a doubt here, anything related to NVIDIA in focus. Thanks again to Juan, who you can find on this show at 11:30 a.m. and 3:30 p.m. to talk about the European and Asian markets respectively. Back to the guys.
Thank you, Juan. And Luis Suarez, believe me, we got you in a quick little second here. We should have done it earlier. But the last little push down, so you can see the sideways action here with the lower highs at about 315. My entry wick off the highs, you got 315.11. I just moved the stop to under there. That push down where it broke the range on Apple only got to 70, buyer at 70. So I took out in front and moved the stop to this wick. So no longer the high of the day. Buyers just came in at a higher low off this move. So if the stop goes to 21, if it breaks that, then it'll effectively be a small loss, but it just doesn't have the juice, and we're starting to get a little bit closer to the end of the day here. So a bit of a change there. Just when I saw the buyer step in earlier than I would like to see. We didn't do one. Here, NVDA earnings. NVIDIA earnings, quick poll, everybody. Just let us know. Jump in the chat and answer the poll. Simple. All you got to do is type a number. You think long, short, or nothing burger? So you type 1 if you think it's a long on NVIDIA. You type 2 if you think it's a short. You type 3 if you think it's a nothing burger, which to me would mean, I don't know, like less than 1 or 2%, right? Like if it's even half the expected move, that's at least something for a long. Immediately and then right away, it's like, oh, everyone's pretty bullish here. Bullish, bullish, bullish. Over 50% like the long. No, they don't like the nothing burger whatsoever. So yeah, people liking the long and feeling bullish about NVIDIA. A little surprised by that because we did look at what's been happening in the last few quarters, and it hasn't been the best for NVDA. But we'll leave it up for the next 15, 20 minutes or so, and then we'll close it, see what the sentiment is, and then we get to find out what happens live. Stick around. They're going to report at like 4:20-ish, everybody, and we'll be here live. Team's going to stay. Joe, I don't know if Joe's stick around, but myself, Sean, Adair, will all be here. Oh, we'll probably be sitting here. I know how he rolls. So we'll let you guys know exactly not just what the numbers are, but what's happening real time in that stock, whether or not there's going to be some sympathy plays as well. We'll take a look at NVIDIA. It's going to be all things NVIDIA. We do also have CrowdStrike and CRM tonight. It's not like they're the only ones reporting. But Salesforce, I feel like Salesforce is probably going to disappoint us again.
Yeah, maybe. Okay, here we go, man. Let's see what we could do now. Come on, Apple. Get to the downside, man. This is going to be hopefully a good mover. We, getting more and more out, as we said, on this downside. There it is. Yeah, go, 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 Apple. Honestly, man, just a really decent look here for Apple. And guess what else is happening? There it is. Finally for us now on our good friend Intel, as it just moonshotted there to the upside. No idea what's going on there. We just get out right in front of you a little bit more of Intel as it gets to 87.90 right there. Nice move. I'll even get another piece right here at 83s. Come on, Apple. Let's get a little lower right now. Hopefully we can get a little lower on Apple. I'm gonna take one more bid here at 78, sorry, and see if we can just finish that one. And then after that, we'll have about 40% left. We've done really good here on this Apple short, just looking for an easy trade. And that I said to you, like, this is an easy trade. It's just, it has to work, and sometimes don't work out. And I like when they are easy, breaking the 25-period moving average down there to the downside. And like I said, it was a bigger position for myself, so we have lots of opportunities to get out there. So that's what we're doing, and I think we're just doing it right now. Like I said, we have a little bit left, so now let's wait to see if we do get a drop down. I mean, 50s would be a great area. If we got that, like I said, man, we'd be doing backflips on that one. So hopefully that does come through soon. 314.55, and then a little more downside hookups on that one. I got to pick my daughter up at the Subway, and right beside the Subway is a Farm Boy. So I'll be going to Farm Boy there. I've been tasked to get the meat for tonight. So we'll see what proteins we come up with over there. I really like the sausage that they make, so I'll probably be doing some of that, some barbecuing tonight. But I'd like to barbecue up some profits, hopefully on Apple as that continues to go. Let's see if NVIDIA is making a run. It's only 12 minutes until these imbalances, so got to be careful. NVIDIA is making a run downside right now into 210, down 1.3% heading into earnings. I think the answer to that poll is minimal move on NVIDIA. I don't know what that would mean, but I think under 4%. I don't know what the
expected is 5 point. It was 5.8, 5.9 somewhere. It's probably settling just under 6, I would think.
Yeah,
that's what it was the last time I checked, anyway.
All right.
That's the way I'll look at it.
Yeah, I'm gonna go.
And it is still looking. Everyone's looking pretty bullish on it. That said, it doesn't matter what's happening going into the print. It's not some kind of a tell, the fact that it's getting sold off here. We've never really seen any correlation like that. It doesn't help. overall. But yeah, you're getting a bit of a drop here on Nvidia. I didn't even add Nvidia to my imbalances. So I want to make sure I have that on the list because, hey, the reporting time. Adara.
I have some news here on Google. Not much of a move, but I am seeing a report from the Wall Street Journal suggesting that Google has another AI reorganization or shakeup here. They're moving their AI responsibility team out of the DeepMind labs. We know there have been some DeepMind shakeups as of late. Demis Hassabis, former CEO of DeepMind, changed his position within DeepMind. I believe he's its president now. That was going back to a couple weeks ago. Now, again, they're moving their AI responsibility team out of the DeepMind labs. So lots of shakeups happening here for GeoOGL yet again.
Yeah, so there you go. Remember, I moved my stop from 315.25 to 315.12, or it actually was 10. We got out at 12. So, you know, it ends up not working out. There was one push into about 70, and then it breaks that higher low. So, I don't know, it just didn't really feel it. I like the opportunity of Apple there. The risk to reward looked good, but ultimately ends up a bit of a fail. SoFi stopped moving, but I don't particularly see a reason to be out of this one. Like the reversal from VWAP, market is kind of pulling back in here. So I can see, like, I always say this, if you're in something and it's kind of trending in one direction going into the imbalances, you might as well just throw a tight stop close to 350 and see if it comes out your direction, meaning it comes out of sell. Trump signs an order banning some foreign energy equipment from U.S. grid.
Okay. I don't know what that means exactly.
It's a GEV-related play, is what I was seeing. And GEVs at highs, but they haven't, like, there's nothing new, like, in terms of they were already at highs, but I just thought I'd flag it because it's GEV.
Because it's our American company, so if they're banned.
Yeah, I guess that's good for them. My problem's like,
I think that'd be
the last few days, I just can't get excited when it goes up anymore, because every time this stock is up 3 points, Eli Lilly's down 3. It's up 3, Lilly's down 3. Figure it out. How about they just all go up together? Remember the good old days?
Yep.
When your entire portfolio would go up together?
Yep. Yeah. Those are them days.
We're not in that. We're not in that kind of a market. That's just how it is. Darcy, thank you so much for your donation. Another $34. We can. And again, if you don't know what's going on here, Fabian is cutting off his locks on Friday live on the show. And for every $2,500 that we raise, you get to sponsor one kid going through chemotherapy to get a wig. So we're already at 2 wigs. We're trying to work on the 3rd. We're over the 6K mark. So we do have about 1,500, just a little less than 1,500 to go. And then we secure the 3rd wig because that's what it's all about. If that's the goal.
Yeah.
What?
Get it going, little John.
Let's get to that 7,500. Fabian is very generous about it. And don't think we have, look, Arun Warrior, I don't know if you're still in the chat, but you did say you would donate 2 Gs if we wore wigs tomorrow. So I'm gonna find my wig from that Halloween day and make sure that I throw that bad boy on. You know, I mean, if I do wear that tomorrow, the problem is I'm covering my coif, which is obviously epic.
Yeah, you don't
but I'm willing to make that sacrifice for everybody out there. I know Sean is too, but we're covering our gorgeous coif.
We're both going to do that there for sure. Just so I got stopped out of Apple, but I'm trying to go long now against 315. So obviously we'll both be red on Apple, but hopefully we can turn this one around a little bit now and get back there to the upside. Just shorting there. Just because we got stopped out doesn't necessarily mean that I think the long is hitting. It's 315 right there. We still do have those imbalances coming through, so watch out for a break back down below near 315. Just thinking there, I mean, want to be in something in case there's a runner. So we're into Apple right now at 315.25. I think it's worth a little bit of movement here to the upside. It did crack down below 20 cents or so in the money, and we talked about how we didn't have that much left. So it was been okay on the reload, but definitely I would like to see some more upside movement here in Apple heading into the close, and took advantage pretty good of Intel, like was not even really expecting that move there out of nowhere. So Intel goes up and down again. Looking to stop out of Intel on this break right there, 87.30. So we'll put our stop in on Intel at 87.30 and watch out for the rest of this market as we go over to the desk with Sia.
Nothing too crazy going on here when we're towards the end of the session for today with crypto, but just super brief. I'll keep it super brief here. Manpreet Kohli, who is based in the UK, was the leader of Saitama. That was a company that promoted token a token on the Ethereum blockchain, and that had a value of $7.5 billion at one point. He's now wanted in the United States on charges of wire fraud and market manipulation, now being sent back to the US from the UK, now that he's lost the fight against extradition. So that is what's going on with this. Nothing too crazy, just something I thought I'd mention, put out there. But let's just check levels and what's going on in the crypto markets. Bitcoin for now is flat on the day, completely flat, trading around the $78,400 region. Ethereum at the moment is up 8%, a little bit over, trading around $2,400 region. Solana is absolutely flat on the day, trading around the $96 region. And finally, you have XRP that is down the most out of the four names, close to 4% on the day, trading on the $1.03 region.
All right, we are drilling in the background, so we want to say thanks to Sia putting up with all that and going through her little segment there. All right, so now we're 5 cents in the money. Yeehaw! Right now on Apple. Let's just keep going there, Apple. See if we can break through. I mean, it doesn't even want to break this 23, 24 level, 25, 27, 29, 30s. Okay, all right, well, all we have to do is talk about it. There it goes, again, 12 cents in the money. Almost back to green now on Apple as we just sort of scalp out of this one again back there to the upside. So let's see if there is a late day. Yes. All right, let's see if there's a late day run now on Apple. Hopefully there is, but who knows? I'm offering now 36s, which was basically where we got stopped out that first time. So, nice little run up there, but it didn't give us the juice we needed to really get going there on Apple. So there's the fade out again on AAPL. When the market is this slow, it's not that it's slow, it's that there's not that much volume. So the follow through on some moves really aren't there right now. But 21 million shares for Apple, that's probably significantly, I say probably, I'm not sure, but underneath what the average daily volume is for Apple, even at 21 million shares. So let's let that one just sort of settle down. If it breaks lower underneath 315, then we'll get out. I'm not really trying to do anything else other than get out of this move on the way up and then stop out on the way back in. But we have
SpaceX is crazy.
Yeah, we have added a little bit more to that. Yeah, SpaceX did fall down from that 140. We can go over to your screen.
Yeah, this is insane. SpaceX just got absolutely hammered off that 140 level. The last couple of candles have been parabolic. It just dropped into VWAP here. We have 3 minutes till the imbalances hit. And easy peasy, thank you for the super chat, 0.2% hit target in the AM on SNDK.
Kablam.
Neil, new pick. Okay, I had to all of my Chrome crashed, so I'll reopen my X and we'll find. I'm assuming you sent a new one of those AI picks.
Yeah,
I'll get my Chrome back open and see if I can't find it. So I'm sure you would have tagged me on it for sure. But SpaceX is the big one, and good look on SNDK. Oh, there it is. Here, I'll show everybody. Hey, we got the chalk in there. Now the only issue is, if I ever wore a blazer on the show, then I've probably been kidnapped by aliens. But that is the look. That is. I like that for sure. I like this. That's pretty cool. Thank you, and again, thank you, Easy Peasy. We appreciate you. But it was SanDisk that you made. I
really want to go long on SpaceX, but there's still that imbalance to come.
Imbalance is only 2.5 minutes. You're really close to the imbalances. Must have been. Whoops, that's Blue Ocean. Yeah, good longs off the bottom for SNDK. 15 hundo looks like it's the inflection spot. They're probably not going to move that much, but the memory names are in play for Nvidia because everyone's a little bit concerned about the AI trade. If Nvidia does for some reason do an outsized move, which I don't think it will, but if it does, this is a good place for some sentiment to come in as well, which probably more Micron though. The early look on the imbalances still doesn't have anything except for GDX, 1.6, 1.7 million to the sell side. That's about the only thing of any interest. But remember, NASDAQ names, you don't get an early look on. In 2 minutes, then you find out whether there's an imbalance on SpaceX or Nvidia or any other NASDAQ name out there. So most of the names that we're interested in, you just find out, it hits, and you just react to it. Because ultimately, if it's a buy imbalance, you're going to see the algos. If it's a big one or a sell imbalance, a big one, the algos just pick them up right away.
Yeah, I'm getting ready. I mean, if this breaks 138, I think we can go long there on these imbalances. Intel's flying right now. That's 70 cents in the money. Apple fell back down through that level. So we're just going to wait there, wait for SpaceX. I want to go long on that break anyways, but I don't want to go long right now. And the break is going to be, there it goes, shit. The break is going to be because of the imbalance. So yeah, don't really, that's too bad because I really think it's a long back there. That was just an epic fall from that 140. And there it goes, now breaking through 138 with only a minute to go now until those imbalances. I think they'll be pretty big there into the close, but who knows on that one. Very risky, right, doing anything here into the close. I just thought that it had gotten hit so far there that would have been a nice call. If it comes out a buy and it's still down there, that's when I wanted to hit it, because it definitely could get back up to 140 SpaceX. So, we don't have to worry too much about that. Remember, NVIDIA and SpaceX, like, they're pretty hooked up. Like, SpaceX has already committed so much money to NVIDIA, as we know over the last little while. They're all in on NVIDIA. So if that's a good earnings, and maybe there's a talk about, we talked about what's that next sort of addressable market for NVIDIA. Maybe it is space, and maybe it is the robot angle of it all, the XAI angle, all that. So we'll get going on that after hours. Of course, join us for that. But it looks like right now, there goes SpaceX upside here with only a few more seconds left, and boom, there it is. So must be nothing. It's not really moving around here, SpaceX. So not much to worry about there on the imbalance for SpaceX. It's GDX, Ethereum, Snapchat, iBit won't be moving. NVIDIA with a small buy. So maybe there's something going on there for NVDA. But here, let's put something on SpaceX just in case we do make that move back to the high side.
It's a small buy. It's 300K.
Okay, yeah, small buy. I mean, didn't really react to the market. So, oops, that's NVIDIA. So we are now into SpaceX. Let's give it a go here. See what ends up happening. SpaceX long 138 and change. We can give this one until a drop area of like 137.80 maybe. If it's going to go, it's going to go. So we don't need to worry too much about it. If it fades out, it fades out. But there goes SpaceX right now into the close. Good day for it. Obviously up 0.17, but not much else going on there as we wait for NVIDIA earnings, which are now moments away, about a half hour or so, we think, around 4:20.
Yeah, 4:20 is the expectation. That's when we're expecting to get them. Remember, they're not the only name reporting. There was nothing too crazy on the imbalances. SoFi just hit the low. It didn't even have one. Small sell, but that was enough to maybe just hit the bid and get out. GDX at 1.5 million to the sell side. You would think that would be interesting, but you're not really seeing any continuation. Might track this one for a potential flip on GDX at 55, so that could at least be something there. But NVIDIA is the name of the game. Them, CrowdStrike, CRM, those are the big ones. Snapchat with a buy of 1.2 million. Do you remember what was obviously a big story for Meta in the settlement? I mean, Snapchat, if Meta gets hit, Snapchat's going to be under pressure as well. But this couldn't even go up more than 1 cent. With that 1.2 million buy imbalance, the stock moved 1 cent. The sellers are heavy on Snapchat. These guys could be in trouble the next couple of days, because that doesn't look very good technically. And that reversal on Meta looks even worse when you put in context. It just broke right to the 200 period, right to $6 exactly, and then giving up almost 10%. Yeah, not a good look for Snapchat. Not that it's been very good for Snapchat anyways.
No, Snapchat's been in a problem zone for themselves. I was just looking at Intel. Yeah, it's in the gates of hell right there, especially with all that social media talk. All right, Intel, just more outs right now. We're almost flat on this name. We might as well just get flat here on Intel. I'm waiting for 88s, but you know what? Let's just exit the trade here at 81. There it goes. Actually hits us there at 81s, and so we're out now at 81. So a good little trade there for sure. That was about 60 cents on that last piece there for Intel. I mean, will SpaceX go? I don't know, but we'll offer some 55s there as now it's starting to go back up to the upside. So just a 25-cent win right now for SpaceX. We'll wait for a little higher, if we can get that into the 70s, we'll see. That's where that 25 period moving average is. So if we can get something there, great. We just offered some out at 55 and got it. You saw me take that trade out. We're only long at 27, so that was only 30 cents or so of that victory loop there on SpaceX. But yeah, just trying to give it again to 137.80 or so, that slip up there, and we'll be out of SPCXs. Now it just goes right back as a flat trade here into the closing moments here for SpaceX. And remember, at 355, it was, Neil mentioned that it was a small buy. It may flip over into a sell, at which case, this will probably wipe again, and we'll get stopped out of this name. But that's why we're trying to right now get out of a little bit more here on SPCX as the day is getting a little long in the tooth. Of course, you're going to stay with us here for NVIDIA earnings, CrowdStrike earnings. There are a few good names. coming through today, right? As we can see right there. And it's going to be NVIDIA. Okay, we just got another fill on SpaceX. NVIDIA, Okta, Viva, Agilent, Salesforce, the big name there tonight, as well as CrowdStrike. So there should be some interesting looks here, and we're going to help provide them to you live as Adara will drop all of the numbers. Neil and I will have the charts going, and we'll just work off of that. So that's what we're going to be doing here into the close. Make sure you join us every single time, 8 a.m. every single morning, no matter what.
And the big earnings, man.
No matter what the mornings are, and any major earnings. This will be probably the last one, although I think tomorrow Marvell, for me, is a little more.
Marvell's a big deal, man.
I think Marvell's a big deal, and we'll see. Marvell, for me, I own way more NVIDIA, but I think Marvell has juice to it. So, I don't think NVIDIA does.
Well, it's like which one is going to move double digits?
That's what I mean. Yeah,
like NVIDIA is not. Well, NVIDIA might, but NVIDIA is probably not.
You never know.
Digits. I don't want to say never, but Marvell, if it doesn't move double digits, I think that would be a disappointment. I didn't check, but I would guess Marvell is looking at double digits. NVIDIA just broke the low of the day going into this. So yeah, going into the print, they are selling NVIDIA off.
You're no nice.
Finally went. Well, there's a flip at 55 because NVIDIA just bounced, so there must have been some kind of a flip. And bounce locator, well, I don't even see it, but whatever NVIDIA was before, it's a little smaller now, or it went from the bid to a bit of a sell. Yeah, back and forth. So just a kind of whipsaw action happening here in NVDA. Only 5 minutes to go. I didn't really double check that poll to see how it ended up, but we're still pretty bullish. 54% think long, 21% short, and 25% said nothing burger. So we're slightly bullish on NVIDIA tonight. I'm more in the nothing burger camp, I'm not gonna lie.
All right. I'm more in the dollar club camp because there's SpaceX right now, just up $1. We're long 138.30s. It's at 139.30. Well, let's see if it gets to 30s. We're in the 90-cent club, I should say, right now. But there it goes. More outs to the high side. There it is. Okay, so there's $1. More high side trades now for SpaceX. Let's see if it tries to attempt that 140 again here late. Obviously, getting out of position here is SpaceX. So there it is, man. I mean, there can't be a day where your boy doesn't trade SpaceX, right? And there it goes. Nice move there to the upside on SPCX. Boom shakalaka. So there it goes, man. Good move there. Glad we had looked over at that. Yeah, what's up, Mason Moore? The Dollar Club is here one more time. So yeah, nice move there today. We have much more than a Dollar Club on Meta. This will be my #1 P&L name today. We've only traded like 5 names or so. But there it goes, upside for Meta. It's too bad that it dropped out at the end, but we had some good trades with you guys earlier today, during the close show on Meta, as that one's a mover, and it's just not trying to take out 580 there near the end of the day. Okay, man, holla at $1.20 right now for SpaceX. So more outs there on the upside of SPCXs. There it goes, man. I mean, look, I'm not afraid. You don't need to be afraid to trade around the imbalances. You just got to be a little more cautious. So there it goes, upside. Look where our stop was, man, 37.80. So our stop was 50 cents. It's now in the money of $1.20. So, I mean, yeah, giddy up here for SPCX. Upside play. Still have a quarter left of it with only 3 minutes to go. Maybe, I didn't think we'd be true when I said that comment, but maybe we do get a run right now at 140. I mean, pretty much that's what's happening. We can get another piece out in 70s now, $1.33. Here we go. Now, there it is. Did we just get that? No, we did not. We're at 72s right now for SpaceX. One more wipe, and we should be able to get it. So there's $1.40 to end the day. It's always nice to close the day on this kind of a run. So there it goes on SpaceX. Nice upside move there. DJT.
Yeah, we had this conversation about DJT, and just caution. It's I'm not sure the name. High Horizon, whatever. DJT to get attention is starting to get attention on Reddit. Fair enough. They bought crypto at the dip at 70K heavy, squeeze possible. The stock's now 60% crypto. Okay, well if that's an update, like when I looked it up, I thought they were about 30% crypto. Like they own 30% of their market cap crypto. But if that's changed and it's an update, fair. And then I would argue that maybe it has more of a move, because I feel like it moved fairly based on the first number. If they actually added at 60 and it's double that, then that could be a little bit different. Just one note, with about 90 seconds to go, it is what it is. Apple right back into VWAP. But you know what? It ran the top. There was no way I'm going to be in this one while it's still held that high. But Apple getting a bit of a sell-off. And another donation, 69. Fernando Humana. Thank you for that donation. We appreciate you.
Thank you very much for all of those donation, guys. It means a lot. We're getting there, and I'm excited to see Neil in a wig. Especially if it means we're gonna get 2K there.
I gotta find it. I know it's in the room.
Andre, if you take what is it, Media Pool 4, there's a fun image there. You can see at least a version of Neil with long hair. Is it 4 or 3?
Oh, come on, man.
This was very just spur of the moment. Neil. You look very, very attractive. Right there.
You don't remember taking that? There's Obi in the back.
So basically, that's Obi, one and
me.
That's you?
Yeah, that's me with your face.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know anything about that.
We were just playing around with deepfakes.
Clearly.
Oh, okay, yeah. The only one that looks like the person there is one, I think.
I can tell it's one. I can tell it's Obi because of the glasses.
Yeah. If I had time to write a book, maybe I would, but I don't. So no book coming out for me anytime soon. But retirement, hopefully, sooner rather than later, and that could spark some kind of a book. All right, 4 seconds left. I'm going to hold some SpaceX into the close. So let's see what winds up happening there. I'm purposely holding some of this. So I still have about 20% or so of SPCX. I actually want to hold it because I think NVIDIA is going to say something, and I think SpaceX could really rip. So I'm going to hold on to this as long as I can until they tell me to flatten it out there in the back, which may be sooner rather than later. But let's see what happens now with SpaceX today and a possible movement here in the after hours on SPCX. Okay, I guess we got to turn around. I have no idea if my screens are going to work, so it might be Neil here.
It looks like it's working
tonight. Okay, good. Hopefully it is working. Which screen does it show?
It's showing.
Okay, perfect. As long as it shows those screens, that's good to go right now. Okay, we'll go back over to the desk and then we'll flip it around. Earnings Bonanza starts now.
Yeah, I could actually start at any moment here. I'm waiting to see if I have CRM, but at 4 p.m., CRM and Okta. At 4:05, CrowdStrike, Synopsys, Viva, and Agilent Technologies. At 4:15, HPQ. They are pretty timely at 4:15, guys. And at 4:20, the always timely NVDA. Now, interestingly enough, the name that we're most excited about, the name the market has been waiting for, only 5.8% expected move. I'm hearing CRM now. I'm going to look into the CRM report, guys. So I'll see once that Neil and Sean get set up, but I'll see if I can actually find it live for you guys here. That is Salesforce CRM. Let's see if this is Benny on or Benny off. And I have the numbers here. Let's go over CRM. So CRM here, they start, I guess, with remaining performance obligations up 14% year over year to $33.5 billion. Overall RPO, because that's current RPO, overall RPO up 11% year over year to $66.3 billion. Subscription and support revenue up 12% year over year to $10.8 billion. That includes a $440 million contribution from that Informatica acquisition. Overall revenue $11.3 billion. I believe this is more or less in line with what we were expecting. Estimates here were $11.3 billion, so in line revenue as far as I can tell. That's up 11% year over year, and that also includes that $456 million Informatica contribution. So without that contribution, they would have missed revenue, guys, here for CRM. It was really only CRM and Okta that we were expecting it for. Again, at 4:05, you're going to get the likes of CrowdStrike and Viva Systems. I think by far, though, CrowdStrike the most interesting of that 4:05 numbers. How are you guys sitting up over here again? So Salesforce, I'll just go over these one more time. Q2 adjusted EPS 590. That's going to be a beat compared to estimates of 327. Revenue barely a beat if you squint. 11.345 billion versus 11.32 billion expected. And again, guys, that Informatica acquisition contributing a lot and helping them quite significantly here.
Question for CRM is going to be the sales. They barely beat on sales, but that EPS beat is gigantic.
I think it's Informatica related.
Right.
They
So
kept contributing everything.
Exactly. So if it's all that Informatica, no, 6% is good, but the question is how much more they deserve. Is the market going to come back and say, hey, look, that's, this doesn't necessarily need to be that big, but look, it's a good breakout. CRM was already off of the lows. You're 50% on a break from the actual lows, the 52-week lows that are on CRM. And on the daily, we have broken out. You're above the 200-period moving average. There's pretty much clear skies in terms of a setup till 235 for Salesforce. So Salesforce is in its little bit of a mini bull market, I would say.
I mean, its margins 34% versus 20%. I mean, that's exactly
big.
like that's something that could also tip the scales for Nvidia if their margins can somewhat change, because we know the sales are there. So it's nice to see with Salesforce that nice move. But there it goes up now 6.5% on the day. I don't know what it was down earlier. Our percentage points there won't be right. So you got to watch out for that one. But yeah, just in the daily chart, making that move back up there into 220. You do have a stop and go area there of 222. So we'd like to get above that and hold. And then we'll see 260 for Salesforce. OKTA also came through, another big name there. Okta, we can see those numbers. Derek can probably parse through these as well. $1.05 versus 97 cents. Revenue $805 versus 795. Okta right now, yeah, buddy. Nice move to the high side on OKTA. So far we'll go 2 for 2 on these early looks. We're just waiting for CrowdStrike, right? I mean, that's going to be an important name to come through. It looks like someone smacked that down by accident into 180 there. We'll see what happens here. 191. Top of the day there for CrowdStrike. Let's see if we can beat that.
Oh, I hate to be that person.
Yeah, I don't know. It might not have been anything. Could have just been a quick little move there. Yeah, Salesforce out, Okta out, and we're waiting now for CRWD. And, of course, the big one on NVIDIA. Did that poll ever? Oh, we have it up there right now. Yeah, the poll right there, long was 54%, short 21%, nothing burger 25%. I'm in the nothing burger camp there for NVIDIA, but who knows, man? I mean, I'm hoping in some sort of an action for it. It'll be a good trade tomorrow. That is NVIDIA.
Yeah, almost for sure it's going to be a big one tomorrow. But that Okta actually looks pretty interesting as well. Look, that's a huge move. You're now at, like, you're 17%, but again, that's not really including the move intraday. Okta, watch out. It is a double top on the daily up here, 158, and then a lower high at 156. So if it pushes any further, you do have some overhead resistance, but a gorgeous move here for Okta. And Dara, you already had the numbers on this one, but did you get the guidance? I don't think I heard that for Okta. Yeah, can you repeat the guidance?
Yeah, there's third quarter guidance, also for FY27 as well. So third quarter revenues come in line. It's almost in line, I would say, $813 million to $817 million. Estimates were 810. EPS of 92 to 94 cents. You have operating income that's been guided for $196 million to $200 million. Free cash flow at $175 to $185 million. That's missed the estimates of $194. Let's go to Adara.
Yeah, let's talk some price right here. Guys, so CRWD going to be in focus. Record net new annual recurring revenue. That's up 51% year over year to $333 million. They also raised their guidance for fiscal 2027 net ARR growth by 630 basis points. They're now expecting 34% year over year growth. Revenue, $1.47 billion, up 26% year over year. So nice look there. Subscription revenue up 27% year over year to $1.4 billion. Good look there. We already talked about that ARR, which is an important metric for them, and that's up 25% year over year overall ARR. Like I said, the net ARR a little bit different. Let's zoom down to the guidance. Here we go. So annual recurring revenue, as you mentioned there, that's strong guidance for the fiscal year. ARR for Q3, they're guiding between 6.184 bill and 6.188 bill. Total revenue, they're guiding here for Q3 between 1.523 billion and 1.529 billion. They also have their fiscal 27 guidance up here. So yeah, I'm not seeing how that compares to estimates for that guidance for Crowd, but decent guidance and really strong earnings report, I think, especially with that ARR.
Yeah, I mean, it is. I see a beat on that guide. It definitely the midpoint is beating. Not a huge one, but it's good enough to be double digits. Apple fritter time, although you don't get anything unless it's here tomorrow morning at the open at 9:30. But yeah, it looks fantastic for CrowdStrike. That's not going to be split adjusted, so we'll have to do CrowdStrike over here. But CRWD, at the end of the day, what I love about this name is it's gone parabolic. You can't say that it is not a good-looking chart, but it was in a big pullback. I feel as if it was small beats on the top. Even the guide was just a small beat, but because they'd all pulled back so far, like 25 points from the highs, I think it put it in a better spot, Sean, for this rally. Like if it was at the highs, I'm not so sure you'd be getting this move here if they were actually at all-time highs.
Well, look at Palo Alto also, 340 up to 352 as that's starting to get going as well. We know Palo Alto reporting next week, so get ready for that one. And like I kept saying, man, I'm buying these dips. This is a sector that we like. it's Palo Alto, it's CrowdStrike. We are starting to go back there now to the upside, and we're still waiting for Nvidia. Do you know that Nvidia, we talked about how many millionaires they minted. Do you know, Sia, that 80% of Nvidia employees are millionaires? And did you also know that they have 53,000 employees? So if you think about that, that's over 40,000 employees, millionaires, because of the man in the leather jacket. Let's see what happens to Nvidia as we move forward right now. Salesforce bumping. What's up, Adara?
Yeah, there's a reason Salesforce is bumping, and it's kind of weird. So CNBC reporting that Salesforce and Anthropic have expanded their strategic partnership and unveiling something they're calling CloudForce. So there we go. Again, Anthropic plus Salesforce, CloudForce. If you get more details on what CloudForce entails, I'll let you know. Also, yeah, with CRWD, we talked about that guidance for fiscal 2026, or sorry, fiscal 27 being pretty strong. Q3 27 guidance for CrowdStrike, bit mid. EPS exactly in line with estimates. Revenue just a hair above estimates. So that's going to be kind of maybe an issue, that quarterly guidance. Again, though, the fiscal 27 guidance for CrowdStrike, not bad at all.
Oh, you've got to like that. The extension on CrowdStrike is fantastic here. Like I said, that blue sky setup, you're almost there now. You're talking 235. You just tagged 31s. So they're not only $4 away from the only line of resistance that's going to be out there next. So that's a fantastic story. I mean, anybody that's been in this for a while, it's finally giving you the up move to get a little bit out here for sure. I'm going to maybe even consider it myself. Just take the win on this bad boy. But look, them, CrowdStrike, Okta, that's 3 big names, and they're all to the upside. And we still have Nvidia to go. So far, so good. But if Nvidia goes to the downside, all of the happiness is gone, in my opinion, because Nvidia is like that bigger holding. Like, I don't think anybody's got a, well, I shouldn't say I don't think anybody. I should speak for myself. Like, I don't own enough Crowd and CRM. I don't own any Okta. That if Nvidia's down 5 or 6 points, that I wouldn't be down or flat at best. I think it's just, everything is about Nvidia tonight, but we are happy to see Salesforce, a beaten up name, get back. We love the guidance there. CrowdStrike, which you pull back into bear territory off the highs, and they're starting to go as well and dragging up some other names with them.
Yeah, no, we are excited there. Thanks everybody for joining us. Make sure you tell your wife, tell your friends, tell your kids, everything, that we are now on live as we discuss some of these earnings. I'm going to, whatever. I'm probably going to have to flatten this out at 4:15 anyways. So we got some good levels there on SpaceX. We get the high of the day there off this little level. So I'm just starting to get out of it if you guys see a position there below. But yeah, Salesforce holding the candle right now. I mean, we really like the numbers out of CrowdStrike. I mean, I think those were absolutely monstrous numbers there. But look at CRM, just still at the highs right now, up that 11%. And I'm just more impressed with it on the daily. I mean, that's a big candle. We haven't seen this kind of a move. It's great to see it off earnings. We always are wondering, will we retrace back down in? Because that's happened before, man. We've come up and had huge numbers. Still conference call 4:45, Salesforce. We'll hear if there's anything going on. We have 10 minutes now before Nvidia starts running around. Quick little look on NVDA briefly now. What's up, Tiffany? Hope you're doing well. There's Nvidia still right now down that 1.39%. So we'll have to use that as our marker, right? It'll be probably about 1.5% is what we're down on the day for Nvidia. So we'll have to wait to see where it goes. I would think a good target for Nvidia would be 2.25. So all the way up there, that would put it up a couple percentage points, still underneath the number. But I like that as a look there, 2.25. Downside, I don't want to buy any more of that, but 200 is not a horrible spot to look at for Nvidia. And I said that I think that's the problem as we wait for those numbers from Nvidia is how much better does it have to get? It's already projected to be 99% EPS beat from last year. So upside going on Nvidia right now. I think it's going to be dangerous. What are they going to have to do to beat the street here? Nvidia, we're about to find out in just over, I have no idea, my clock isn't here. So, all right, we're going to Adara.
Now we're about 3 minutes away from HPQ earnings, so just be aware. I just reposted that infographic on X at UTV Research for those who are curious. They still have an interim CEO as well at HPQ because their CEO, Enrique Lores, left to become the CEO of PayPal because they shocked the world and got rid of Alex Chris. So HPQ, no permanent CEO. I just think that's worth noting. Let's talk here about NVIDIA, though, because NVIDIA reporting in, as Sean mentioned, and as Joe mentioned, 8 minutes. Last quarter, 85% year-over-year growth here for NVIDIA for overall revenue, with data center sales climbing by 92% year-over-year. Their edge computing revenue, that's their other revenue segment, up by 10% year-over-year, which comparably not as big. Now, gross margin, I mean, it grew by 1,440 basis points on a year-over-year basis, but it declined by 10 basis points on a sequential basis. So just be aware of that. Diluted EPS were up 214% year-over-year last quarter. So this company gives us big numbers. If we don't get that massive number that maybe we're expecting, potentially expect a negative reaction from this market, or at least not as jubilant a reaction from this market, especially knowing, guys, that as we discussed, they generally do not respond well to earnings as of late, even though they consistently post record quarters.
Consider is during the call, I mean, Jensen assuaged the fears that new business and growth isn't just about who you are investing in. Like, it just, I want to see more than just, oh, we invested $1 billion here, and then there's some more revenue coming in. No, you need more generic growth, like real growth. It's just not more the circular financing. I think that's more of just a tone of the call. Maybe some positivity out of China can help. We already talked about this morning, how things are seemingly getting a little bit better with regards to China. Little baby steps here and there, but the expectations are high. Even like flattening of margins, if they can just flatten off after that last decline, I think that would be a good sign. But if they're declining again, it's a problem. Like flat would be okay, declining a big problem. If somehow, I'm not expecting margins to go back up. I think it's better if they just sort of flatten off after making that recent top. But they're not moving around. And it looks like Synopsys, there is an earnings name that's down. Synopsys in the red. I don't know how many people care about Synopsys, but yeah, it was 3 for 3 going into that print at least. Okay. Okay.
I was like, I thought it was a troll at first, but yeah, shout out to Synopsys for,
Alex,
I don't know what they get out of XTTV research, but very happy they follow us.
Alex Karp here, apparently on Palantir. Talk about putting money where your mouth is. I just heard he put $86 million into Palantir stock.
That ain't chump change.
So, I mean, Jensen was...
Let Anthony do that.
Not Jensen. It was the Intel CEO there, Lip Bhutan, most recently with a purchase. I think it was $1 million. I think we were talking about that.
It wasn't 87.
And now I just heard that it was. I don't know if you can confirm that. Okay, but I heard in my ear there. So Palantir, apparently Alex Karp, and that's the bump, right? It went from 178 to 180 right there on a big purchase from CEO Alex Karp. Okay, 83 cents for HPQ right now. Is that starting to go upside? Nice move for HPQ. Excuse me. Now you're at $32 now for HPQ. Adara has those numbers, but also Adara, CRM booked a nice win on Anthropic as well. So that was part of the reason
I mentioned
for CRM's move higher. But let's go over to HPQ. What do you got?
Yeah, Claude Force, apparently.
Yeah.
Also, apparently that judge approved Meta settlements with the states over child harm. So settlements now approved for whatever that's worth. So you had 12.5% year-over-year revenue growth for HP. For HP, this is pretty fine here. $15.7 billion for that GAAP net revenue. That's also going to be up sequentially off the top of my head here. GAAP operating margin 5.7%. That's a 60 basis point improvement. Not bad here. You've got net earnings coming in at 66 cents per share. That's going to be down 13% year over year. So decline for those GAAP net EPS. Let's see if we get any guidance from them. That's segment results, 18% year over year for personal systems, consumer. Personal systems net revenue up 10%. Okay, so generally growth here. Outlook for fiscal 2026 Q4, because they just reported Q3. GAAP diluted net EPS between 74 and 84 cents. Non-GAAP diluted EPS between 69 and 79 cents. They also both include an 8-cent favorable impact from estimated tariff refunds. So this apparently a tariff play as well here for HPQ. Just to mention Synopsys quickly as well. Revenue $2.48 billion, beating estimates of $2.44 billion. EPS $3.91. Nice beat here compared to estimates of $3.67. So EPS beat, sales beat for SNPS.
Great there. Not a great look there as we are now 3 minutes away from NVIDIA earnings. Yeah, adjusted EPS 83 versus 69. Everything seems fine. I guess it must have been the guidance there as they go 69 to 79 versus 67. So I don't know. It should be good. I'm not sure what happened to HPQ there, but it is a downside play. Maybe just not as good as expected. I don't know.
It was a massive guidance beat.
Yeah, massive guidance beat, GAAP beat, free cash flow, $3 billion.
I'm not seeing what's bad.
Yeah, so anyways, there it goes right now to the downside. I did have to get out of my SpaceX as we are on a prop floor, so I can't hold it too late, so I just punched out there at 50. We got to get to that one. I still think SpaceX can run on this NVIDIA number. I'm still expecting NVIDIA to address the next market, and I just don't know how they can keep on hitting all these levels if they're just going to be talking about these GPUs. And there's still CUDA. Don't forget about the software platform as well. I don't think that's going anywhere. I think NVIDIA's numbers are going to be huge. Just a matter of what else do they want to talk about? What's next as we continue to think about NVIDIA trading right now? We are now 2 minutes away from a big number, hopefully on NVIDIA. We do have CrowdStrike, the blasting higher as well at the highs, 210. That's been a great name today. Both CrowdStrike and Salesforce both up 10%, starting off a good morning, could be good morning tomorrow, a good after show here with the earnings calls. So HPQ down, the other two names upside right there. CrowdStrike, the important one because of PanW also up 4%.
But let's not, we can't really sleep.
Okta also rallied.
CRM had a very big guidance raise as well. That was a big
Okta's the best one, actually.
But Okta's up the biggest percentage, which is absolutely
up 19%.
True. And you're not going to see NVIDIA, with the double digits. It's not going to go 18% like Okta. It's not going to have that kind of a move, but they can have a big beat with only 1 minute to go here for NVIDIA. Just remember, where we move now, and this goes for all of these names, Okta, CRM, CrowdStrike, rug job on HPQ. Where you are now doesn't say anything necessarily about where you'll be tomorrow morning. We've seen this time and time again. Even the names that have been strong, you come back in. If NVIDIA goes the wrong way, you could see some of these pulling back in, but they are going a little bit higher. Maybe someone's getting excited. 30 seconds away, and NVIDIA just popped a little bit through view. Maybe it's got some early hands that are getting eager for this print. They're going to be top and bottom. We know that.
The thing is that NVIDIA's set up to win. Like, it's already had that move from 230 down to 208, the 50-period moving average. So this is a perfect setup for NVIDIA. There to go. We're looking for 211 on the EPS and 92 billion, I think, on revenue. So between 91 and 92 billion there on revenue, give or take a few country GDPs in there. So we'll wait to see what winds up happening there with NVIDIA. It's funny how they are the whole single point of failure in this market, right? I mean, they're the ones holding the keys to absolutely, you can name 30 stocks that are relying on what happens right now with NVIDIA. And there it is. There's the move. Down to 208 and change. There goes NVIDIA downside, $2.22. Dara has it. Give it to us. Downside.
Okay, well, this revenue beat is massive. We were talking about anywhere from high 91s to early 92 billion. It comes in at $96.2 billion. That is up 106% year over year and a massive beat. Data center revenue, we talked about being up just under 100% last quarter. It's up 117% year over year for the quarter. $89 billion here for NVDA. GAAP and non-GAAP gross margin both coming in at 75%. That's about on par for NVDA, but we know people look really closely at these gross margins, so that could be on watch. Either way, it looks like gross margin up on a sequential and an annual basis, so that's not a bad look at all. Revenue also up 18% quarter over quarter, so we obviously didn't have a sequential revenue decline either. Operating expenses are up 55% year over year. That could be a bit of a look, but we know spending is going to be a concern here. Operating income up 124% year over year. Net income up 126% year over year. Diluted EPS up 128% year over year to a better than expected $2.46. Guidance, they're guiding revenue of $108 billion for Q3 2027. 74% for the GAAP and non-GAAP gross margins. That could be a little bit of an issue. We know we like that 75% for NVIDIA, but nothing too crazy here. GAAP and non-GAAP operating expenses between $9.2 billion and $9 billion respectively. A little bit of an increase there. That is the NVDA numbers. And again, so that revenue guide is going to be above estimates. That's at $108 billion. We were looking for $104.2 billion. I'm really not seeing any misses here for NVDA. But I guess that, as we mentioned, that adjusted gross margin apparently just in line with estimates.
Raising prices. So they're raising prices. Margins are staying the same or very, very slight declines. Or maybe just leveling off if we're hoping. But it's only 4% beats on and raised on the guidance. And that's the problem. It's like, well, we just want double digits everything. If it's not double digits, it doesn't count. That said, we're only down, we're down $7 from here, so that's 3.5% from the close, which is underneath the expected move. So let's not go doom and gloom here. We're expecting 6%. It would have to drop to about at least underneath $200 for it to be more than the outsized move. But this was sort of the problem. Expectations so high, they were set up well, but nothing blew us out here. I did see a whisper number at 102 on the revenue, so maybe they needed to see that over 100, which is where they're guiding over 100 revenue quarterly for the next quarter. Maybe they just wanted to see that now and maybe a bigger beat.
AI has reached its inflection point from Jensen Huang, so that's probably something happening here on NVIDIA. No, it's not a good quote at all. And I think that's something that maybe we have to pay more attention to here, as 205 and change. Not a big move, as we said, for NVIDIA. I mean, I was calling nothing burger. It's right now, it's 2% move down. Nothing really going on for NVIDIA, but the numbers were in line. And like I said, what were we expecting from them? Beats everywhere, in line, even on things that they missed were pretty darn close. I don't see any misses actually right now on NVIDIA. I want to hear about what's next for NVDA, and maybe Jensen does quell some of that. Adair, you parse through again?
Yeah, only in line thing here, as I mentioned, was that adjusted gross margin at that 75%. That was, better. It was a growth year over year, but it was just in line with estimates. And with NVIDIA, we always want that beat and that raise. So, again, though, that guidance well above estimates here. They're also still not assuming any China data center compute revenue and guidance. Whoop-de-doop, super shocked, not surprised.
If something positive comes out of China next year.
It just flushed. That might be the low right there. I don't know if it's worth calling the low right now, 5 minutes after, 3 minutes after earnings, but that's what happens, right? The algos hit it. It falls back in, then people say, wait a second, there's absolutely nothing wrong with these. And then now you're literally down 0.5%, 1.5%, maybe on NVIDIA right now. So yeah, happy. I think if it stays like this, I'm okay to go long, I think, tomorrow, and we'll have to wait to see what winds up happening. Let's check some of the other names that are looking around here. AMD generally doesn't move on NVIDIA earnings, and you could see it's not, I told you, there wasn't actually much going to happen outside of this call. Nice to see Marvell moving higher right now, but shipping of data center products to China during the corner were less than 1% or something there of revenue. So there it is. There goes NVIDIA. Right now, it's almost going to be up right now after that move down. What do you got, Adara?
Yeah, I just want to go over what these numbers were. I whip this up really quickly here. $89 billion for that data center revenue. That's up 117% year over year. Edge computing revenue, this was up sequentially and annually here at $7.2 billion. So that grew here. You can't see because of where the headline is, but it grew 13% year over year. Overall revenue growth 106% year over year. That is a better revenue growth than what we were seeing coming through from last quarter. So sequential improvement there for growth. I like that. That is the Q2 2027 revenue look here for NVDA. This will be posted right before the Blue Ocean session opens around 8 p.m.
Yeah, remember, NVIDIA is the bank of AI, so even if they're not going to go green, SNDK initially dropped and is now back above 1,500. Micron initially dropped because everything on sympathy. That's back to where the day's highs were. So you're getting, if they're funding everybody, those numbers just affirmed everything.
No, it's great.
Even if we don't love the reaction, it's a nothing burger on NVIDIA, it still puts a little bit of strength underneath the rest of the ancillary plays, which for now are holding up. But I just come back to that's all well and good. Where are we at 9:30 tomorrow? Because we still have to get the conference call. We still have to wait for Jensen, and he has the power to. He can move the markets. He can frame this great quarter in a much better place, and maybe the market be more receptive. But everything else is seemingly running, even if NVIDIA doesn't want to.
There's Micron taking out the day's high as well. Look, Jensen, you can guarantee one thing: he is a man of the people. He is a Wall Street maven. He knows exactly how to talk to these bankers, these analysts, and everything. I think this is a great number there for NVIDIA there today. And yeah, I think the stock is kind of showing it. That's still Micron chart right there. It did make that move down. There was a little bit of a buyback there. You remember, 4 of the last 6 NVIDIA earnings have resulted in this kind of a move lower. So I don't think there's anything to worry about. I think if you break 200 psychological, that's a little bit of a problem. Adara, what is it, 5:30? What time generally, do you know what time?
Generally for NVIDIA, it's going to be 5 p.m. I'll just check that for you because I think it can sometimes be 5:30 as well. It's going to be 5 though tonight for NVDA.
All right, well, cheers up to NVIDIA and their shareholders. I think it's going to be a good day there tomorrow. Other names, Marvell, Micron, SanDisk, a lot of these names, Micron, I said, going to the high side right now because of sort of what you said there, Neil. If everything's good with NVIDIA, then everything's probably good with the family.
We've survived another quarter.
Yeah, they survived another quarter. It's too bad that NVIDIA reports so late in the cycle because it really does create these nothing burger moments because everybody else, all the CapEx names, they're already out. They've already been trading. We sort of know the rhetoric of some of these other names, so like an Intel, AMD, so on and so forth. So it's nice to see that NVIDIA, holding fort here as expected.
And shout out to Okta.
Yeah,
like
there it is.
Okta kind of stealing the show, everybody. And I see that everyone mentioning it in the chat. Okta's up 23 points here. So we've had two back-to-back days. We've had a monster earnings move, unfortunately. Well, a good one for Abercrombie and Finch, obviously not a good one for DKS. It feels like Okta gets to be the one going in it tomorrow. And then, unfortunately, look, HPQ, that's a rug job. We didn't really see anything that was terribly bad with HPQ. It seemed like it was breaking out, and then it reverses the move. Good for CrowdStrike. They had a good one. Love the CRM quarter. I mean, that was the guidance raise was huge. You're getting a rebound in some of the software names. Oh yeah, CloudForce as well. So CRM looking good tomorrow. It's great. Outside of this HPQ, that's a nasty reversal. Everything else looks pretty good.
Yeah, I'm happy with it. I mean, CrowdStrike, I think, is one of the biggest winners again here today with a 14% move higher on CRWD. So we really enjoy that one. I don't think that's slowing down anytime soon either. So CrowdStrike upside, Palo Alto upside. Yeah, it's been a great day, and check the portfolios. I think you'll be pretty happy with what you see after a day like today. But yeah, again, thanks for waiting with us late. There we have the chat there. We want to thank everybody that stayed with us. Roadman, 2 New York Cent, Jabberwocky. What's up, Jabberwocky? TPS reports. Make sure you file those. And everybody that is still with us one more time. Christmas. Wow, it's almost Christmas. I saw.
Oh my goodness.
Where was I the other day? Costco already selling Halloween candy and costumes and all that kind of stuff. And Halloween's not that far away. It's Christmas. Once they start doing the Christmas, then it's over with. It should be back to school, right? Well, back to school is right now.
Like
I think No, but I think the States has already started.
Yeah, in the U.S. they've already started here a couple weeks.
Yeah, or September 10th or whatever that day is, the first day back to school. All right, Adara, why don't you wrap this thing up and we'll say bye to everybody.
Yeah, I mean, what can I say? There was a lot that happened here today. You have NVIDIA earnings call at 5 p.m. You've got, the pretty solid NVIDIA earnings report, just those inline adjusted gross margins, which could be a little bit concerning. You had CRM with a strong report for the most part, I would say. But with CRM, you also had, of course, the whole CloudForce thing, which some people are viewing as positive, but I'm seeing a lot more people view as this is a sign of the top and this is a sign of a bubble in AI. Then you also had CrowdStrike here. CrowdStrike fiscal year 2027 guidance better than expected, but their Q3 guidance a little bit lackluster, a little bit milquetoast. Then we had Okta, which I think blew everybody's minds here to the upside. It also blew the shorts out of the water, unfortunately, if you were short OKTA. You had Synopsys, which was a decent report, but trading lower, and also not really a day trading stock for people that are not me. But yeah, I guess, guys, the king, the star, the NVIDIA, to end it all, 106% year-over-year revenue growth. What more can you ask from a company? Apparently more, because it's trading lower.
All right.
That's the problem.
Yeah, thank you, everybody, for staying late. Thanks, Adara. Thanks, Sia. Thanks, Neil. And thank, again, all of you. Thanks, Fabian, or whoever's running the board back there. I can't see Andre.
You're welcome.
So on and so forth. Thanks, Ramin, Obi today, Joe, One, Tiffany, Rob came in the after show there to
help fix our PCs.
Fix it. The word fix, I think, is maybe not appropriate. But yeah, thank you to everybody for staying with us late. Make sure you do join us tomorrow live right here at 8 a.m. Let's see what NVIDIA opens up tomorrow. I think it's actually going to open up higher than where we are right now. Thank you to everybody. Thank you, Dijon Mustard, and everybody out there. We'll see you tomorrow at 8 a.m. Ciao for now. Ciao.